Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Naruto, Sign in the Shadow Clone at the beginning of Konoha. Chapter 81. Mr. Kai, didn't you say that 8 subjects are difficult, why is he so easy? Xiao Li looked at Naruto, who opened the door frantically, and was about to cry. Kai was at a loss for words, and said in words, Xiao Li, don't be discouraged, it must have been taught by Kakashi before. Professor, I can only open the door, but I can't open the door. Kakashi's words made Kai even more speechless. After a long time, Kai said, Xiao Li, it is very likely that he has been working hard before to grasp the principle and open the door quickly, but that's it. The further you go, the more difficult it is. Hearing this, Xiao Li nodded, turned to look at Naruto, and found that Naruto had a bitter face, and immediately regained his confidence. It's getting harder, Naruto said with a sad face. Baman Dunjia. Current status, shut down the door. Open the condition of the door of life, do 3 push-ups to the power of 3. Looking at the system panel, Naruto noticed that the system was tricky. Will it be 4 to the 4th power next time? With this thought in mind, Naruto quickly did 27 push-ups, and then a system notification sounded in his mind. It is detected that the host has fulfilled the conditions, and the door of life has been successfully opened. Shungmin. Further increase the attack and speed, and the body begins to congest and turn red. In the final safe zone of Baman Dunjia, the body begins to emit green energy. As the voice fell, Naruto felt that something inside his body seemed to be broken, his fair skin suddenly turned red with blood, and the astonishing aura he exuded was also tinged with green light. Teacher Kai, look at him. The self-confidence that Xiao Li had just picked up was hit instantly. This. Kai was completely speechless. He wanted to make up a reasonable reason, but no matter what he thought, this matter was unscientific. Even if he is as strong as him, he suffered a lot for the Baman Dunjia back then, how could he open the door so easily? It's just that Naruto doesn't care about other people's comments at all. Now is not the time to pretend. He quickly checks the system panel, just to confirm whether it is as he guessed. Baman Dunjia. The current state, Shungmin. Open the injury condition. Do 4 push-ups to the power of 4. Seeing the panel, Naruto couldn't help but look up to the sky and sigh. It really is like this, it's too difficult. 4 to the 4th power is okay, just 256 push-ups, but when it comes to the final dead end, 8 to the 8th power is simply as difficult as climbing the sky. After careful calculation, 8 to the 8th power is 16,777,246, more than 1,000 million push-ups. Even if he is exhausted, he can't do it. This setting is too doggy. Naruto has already planned to use Baman Dunjia as a unique skill. After all, he has a resurrection coin. Even if he dies, he can be resurrected. If he really encountered an enemy he couldn't deal with, he would open all 8 doors and try his best, and then use the resurrection coin to revive him. But now if he wants to open 8 doors, even if he does 1 push-ups a day, he still has to do push-ups for more than 4 years. Naruto can't bear the hard work. How to be good? Naruto fell into deep thought. Do you want to give up Baman Dunjia and start the next project? In addition to Baman Dunjia, Naruto has another plan. In the original book, after the qualifiers, Naruto will meet Jiraiya, who is potential Konoha looking for material, and then he and Jiraiya will practice hard for a period of time. If you follow Jiraiya to Mt. Miaomu in Shandi, you will also have a good harvest. It's just that Naruto is unwilling to give up Baman Dunjia just like that. And many more. Jiraiya. Thinking of Jiraiya, Naruto's eyes suddenly brightened. Following Jiraiya to Mt. Myogi to learn the art of immortality. One of the things Naruto is best at is to condense the magic chakra through the shadow clone meditation, and then release the shadow clone, so as to replenish the main body. In this way, it is the same to use the shadow clone to do push-ups together. The more he thought about it, the more excited Naruto became, and hurriedly started to try. Bang bang bang. Naruto separated 256 avatars, and then they got down together and did a push-up. After finishing, Naruto waited expectantly for the system prompt, but there was no sound. Can't card bug. Naruto's excited heart was cold again. He had no choice but to release the shadow clone. However, the next moment, a system notification sounded in Naruto's mind. It is detected that the host meets the conditions, and the wound door has been successfully opened. Injury door. Further increase the attack and speed. The body begins to suffer damage, and enters the danger zone of the 8-door Dunjia, and enters the 8-door Dunjia state in the true sense. Feeling the changes in his body again, Naruto's heart almost jumped out excitedly. It turns out that the shadow clone is effective for doing push-ups, but it is only completed after the shadow clone is released and returned to the main body. No matter what, this method works, so it is too easy to learn Baman Dunjia. Anyway, there is no need for the shadow clone to fight, as long as it is guaranteed to be able to do push-ups. On this premise, Naruto formed a mudra with both hands to maximize the shadow clone. Bang bang bang. White smoke kept coming out, and there were more and more shadow clones. Although these shadow clones are all blood clicks that will disappear with a single punch, it is also because of this that a total of 1 shadow clones have been created. Baman Dunjia. The current state is hurting the door. Turn on the Duman condition. Do 5 to the 5th power of push-ups. 5 to the 5th power is 3,125 push-ups. For the current Naruto, it means nothing. After a round of push-ups, Duman has been successfully opened. Cool. Taking advantage of the excitement, Naruto started to quickly open the 8-door Dunjia's road of coercion in one go. There are 1 shadow clones, and each shadow clone averages 1 push-ups per minute. After an hour, he completed a terrifying 1,800 million push-ups, more than 17,647,415 more than the remaining 35 push-ups. Completed all the training tasks of Baman Dunjia beyond expectations. It is detected that the host meets the conditions, and the dead door has been successfully opened. Dead gate. The ultimate gate that will kill you after use. After the 8 gates are fully opened, it is called the 8 gates Dunjia formation. The body begins to emit red steam produced by the evaporation of blood, and it has power dozens of times stronger than the 5 shadows. Can use a method similar to an air cannon to hit the air to generate attacks or move in the air, and can be used continuously for a short time until death or consume all vitality at once to release the power that only the energy fluctuations generated by the prelude to the attack are enough to distort space. Reminder. Baman Dunjia is a system sign in reward, and it will not cause damage to the host within 5 seconds of daily use. 5 seconds without damage, isn't that the legendary invincible 5-second real man? Hearing the supplementary prompt from the system, Naruto smiled. 5 seconds may not seem like much, but a duel between masters often determines the outcome with 1 move, and it is enough. I'm done practicing, come on. Casting 1 shadow clones lasted for an hour. When all the shadow clones returned to the main body, almost identical memories rushed into his mind. Naruto felt extremely tired, especially his body was covered with stains, and his whole body was ashamed of. Did you give up so soon? Kakashi sneered slightly. He originally planned to leave, but seeing Naruto performing 1 shadow clones and repeating push-ups aroused his interest, but he didn't expect that it would be over in just 1 hour. For Naruto's 3-minute enthusiasm, Kakashi is going to preach, and Naruto must learn the spirit of persistence. However, before he could say more, Naruto waved his hand and said, "Give up." Who said I gave up? I'm really done practicing. Kai said in a deep voice. Baman Dunjia requires unremitting efforts. Just 1 hour is far from enough. You can practice for another 8 hours. He originally looked down on Naruto. After all, not everyone can persist in physical skills, but Naruto's physical talent is the strongest he has ever seen. He can open several doors in just 1 hour. He is a true physical genius. If Naruto was allowed to be lazy and waste this talent, he would not accept it anyway. From Naruto, he saw the hope that physical skills would advance to a higher level. So even if Naruto didn't want to practice, he decided to force Naruto to practice. No matter how much you say, you don't believe it, so open your eyes and take a good look. Naruto took a deep breath and threw the jacket into Sasuke's hand. No one can guarantee whether the clothes will explode after opening the 8 doors, and taking off the coat is just in case there is no clothes for a while. I can't tell, it's quite predictable. Sasuke touched his nose. Naruto has been wearing the big windbreaker sent by Haruno-me, and he can't see his figure clearly. He can only see that his figure is relatively slender. After taking off his coat, under the mesh training suit, Naruto's chest muscles and abdominal muscles are sharp and angular, especially the blue veins on the arms are even more violent and beautiful. It is not surprising that this figure is placed on Xiaoli, but it is too strange to be placed on Naruto. Because Kyuubi is under control, his skin is so fair that even girls are jealous. The beard on Naruto's face has long since disappeared, and his face looks like a miniature version of Minato. In addition, his hair has not been taken care of, and the middle-length blonde hair is scattered casually, more like a little princess in England. The face of an angel and the figure of a devil may be Naruto at this moment. It's just that the beauty quickly disappeared. I saw Naruto clenched his fists tightly and shouted in a deep voice, "Open the door, open!" A large number of airwaves appeared around him instantly, and his hair also faintly stood on end. "Shut the door, open it." Naruto's aura strengthened again, and his momentum was compelling. Life gate, open. At this point, Naruto's hair has completely stood on end, his body is even more swollen, and his ligated muscles are rock solid, like a Super Saiyan. Seeing this scene, Kai was not too surprised. He said seriously, "I know you can open the gate of life, but the Bamindungia gets harder the further you go, you must practice seriously. Why are you in a hurry? The fun has just begun." The corners of Naruto's mouth hooked slightly, his body had turned a sickly red, and there was a faint green light emitting from it. "Injury door, open." As the voice fell, the veins on Naruto's neck bulged completely. Seeing this, Kai was in a hurry. "Stop it, this is already the danger zone of Bamindungia, don't hold back." Naruto didn't answer, but just proved it with his strength. "Duman, open." With a low shout, Naruto's momentum surged again, but his body sank due to excessive force. The solid ground of the practice field was like fragile paper. The air driven by Naruto's sinking alone was lifted up a large area, clods. In an instant, sand and stones splashed. However, before the dust blocked everyone's sight, Naruto shouted again, "Jingmun, Jingmun, open it for me." A large amount of blue steam emanates from Naruto's body, and with the astonishing airwaves, all the dust is instantly blown away. Seeing that Naruto was still talking, Kai turned pale with fright. "Stop, stop, stop." He must not let Naruto open the door of death, which is the real door of death. But it was too late to stop him, so Naruto yelled, "The gate of death, I'll go to your mother's gate of death, and open it for me." With the blessing of the system, Naruto is not worried about death if he opens the dead door, as long as he controls the time well, he will be fine. Boom! The blue steam on Naruto's body instantly turned crimson, and the incomparably powerful power seemed to be blowing away every second. Boom! At any rate, it was Naruto's first attempt to open the 8 doors. He raised his fist and smashed it to the ground. The earth trembled violently, like howling. "Everyone, step back." With a loud cry, Kai grabbed Lee who was beside him and backed away. Kakashi also quickly grabbed Sasuke and Sakura, and ran back quickly. In the next moment, with Naruto at the center, cracks began rapidly, extending for a full 100 meters. It wasn't over yet, however, and then the ground began to sink, deeper than the height of a 3-story building. Unexpectedly, Bamin's ordinary punch can make such a huge hole, the power is simply appalling. Before he could think more, the 5 seconds ended in a blink of an eye, and Naruto hurriedly closed the 8 gates to prevent his body from being damaged. But the tremor of the earth was not over yet, and it took another 10 seconds before it completely returned to calm. Before the smoke and dust dissipated, the 4 figures rushed into the huge pit, looking for Naruto's whereabouts. It was Kakashi, Kai, Sasuke, and Neji. Seeing a few people, Naruto's heart warmed up, not to mention that Kai was nervous because of the 8 gates, the remaining 3 could really see that they had feelings. "Sasuke, give me the jacket." Naruto wanted to sigh with emotion, but when he opened the 8 doors just now, his clothes were melted by the red steam. At this moment, what he wants most is to get clothes to hide his embarrassment. After getting the windbreaker to wrap his body, Ming came out of the pit and said triumphantly, "See, I said I'm done training, but you don't believe me." Ah, this. Kakashi was speechless for a moment. Learning 8 subjects in 1 hour is outrageous. How did such a monstrous existence be hidden, so that it could always be regarded as the tail of a crane? The movie king isn't that good at acting, is he? Whoosh. Kai ignored these, and came to Naruto in a flash, and began to check Naruto's body. It is a good thing that Naruto is not dead, but opening the door to death is definitely useless. Thinking of the loss of such a talented young man, Kai couldn't help feeling a little sad. He has already decided in his heart that no matter what method he uses, he must heal Naruto. Naruto is definitely an indispensable existence in the physical arts world. However, after checking for a while and finding that there was nothing unusual about Naruto, he was completely dumbfounded. Is this unreasonable? How could it be like this? Isn't it right? Kai instantly turned into 100,000 whys, with little question marks all over his head. Among other things, he has been in gymnastics for decades, and he has never seen anything like Naruto. He can do it in a short period of time to open the door to death, but most importantly, Naruto was unscathed. You must know that from the moment the door of death is opened, life energy will be overdrawn, and it is impossible to have a completely undamaged situation. After a long silence, Kai held back a word. You are a monster. You are a monster, your whole family is. Naruto couldn't help but want to complain, but he knew that it was inappropriate to say such words, so he spread his hands helplessly and said, Hey, I showed the Bamindungia anyway, why don't you applaud, why are you still standing there? Oh, yes, applause. Sasuke took the lead in applauding, and Neji also applauded after recovering. But the others were still dumbstruck, unable to react at all. You know, this is an open door. It can be easily done in an hour, what kind of evil is this? Now Kakashi and Kai are not thinking of applauding, but want to send Naruto to do human anatomy experiment. As for Xiao Li, he was deeply shocked, his eyes were empty at the moment, he looked like he had lost his dreams, he was miserable. After a long silence, Kakashi clapped his hands suddenly, and said, Kai, you are right, Naruto is really a monster. He pulled Kai over, and whispered in a voice that the two of them could hear, you also know that Naruto has 9 tails in his body. I've seen Naruto heal quickly from injuries before. Maybe it's good to be able to open 8 doors without getting hurt. It has something to do with 9 tails, to be able to withstand the power of 9 tails, maybe Naruto's body has changed a long time ago, which is extraordinary. Hearing this explanation, Kai nodded slightly. Indeed, this explanation is relatively reasonable. Kakashi whispered. In any case, we should report this situation to Hokage-sama as soon as possible, and wait for Hokage-sama to make a decision. Yes, Kai nodded, turned his head and said to everyone, train yourself first, and Kakashi and I will do something, don't be lazy. After speaking, Kai and Kakashi left the training ground with a flash. At the scene, only 3 people from the 7th class and 3 people from the 3rd class were left. Naruto, what are you going to do? Sasuke didn't hear Kakashi and Kai's discussion, but he also knew that Naruto's performance was too frightening, so he couldn't help being a little worried. Naruto waved his hand and said, what should I do? You and Neji continue to run in and train, I'm done, I'll go back and rest first. He didn't need to think about it, and he knew that Kakashi and Kai would report to the 3rd generation if they couldn't handle it. As for the 3 generations as his followers, he has nothing to worry about. The big deal is to let the 3rd generation know that his current strength has improved to a higher level. Apart from this, there will be no other effects. What Naruto wants to do most now is to find a hot spring house to take a good bubble to relieve the fatigue just now. After leaving the practice field, Naruto bought a new set of clothes on the side of the road and went to the hot spring house. Naruto originally planned to find one nearby, but after walking a few steps, he saw a beautiful woman holding bath products. The woman was in her early 20s, tall and slender, with long black hair that reached down to her waist. Wearing a light blue kimono and clogs, she looked like a goddess. Too punctual, Naruto couldn't help drooling, and quietly followed behind. Not long after, the woman walked into a hot spring house. Seeing this, Naruto turned his eyes and found a corner where no one was around to perform the transformation technique. When he walked out, he had already turned into a little blonde loli who was less than 1.5 meters high. One female soup, please, on the right. Taking the number plate from the reception staff, Naruto went straight to the women's bath. When he was watching Hokage in his previous life, he had thought about using the transformation technique to go to the women's bath. Now that he has the opportunity, he must realize it. Especially the beautiful woman just now was so eye-catching, he had to check it carefully, because he was worried that the beautiful woman was a spy from another country. In addition, he can also learn the structure of the human body by the way. As long as he resists the temptation from the women's bath, he will not have to worry about being seduced in the future. As for other messy and nasty thoughts, Naruto absolutely doesn't have them. After all, Naruto is still just a teenager, so what strange thoughts could he have? Everything is for investigation, for learning, for a better self. I do this because I have to. Naruto's small face was full of grievances, but his movements were extremely nimble. After removing his clothes, he couldn't wait to rush into the women's bath. Hiss. Entering the women's bath, Naruto took a deep breath. Fragrant, very fragrant. This is a wonderful sweetness that cannot be described in any language. The mist shrouded the hot spring, and there were young girls in the hot spring. Sure enough, it was a very correct choice to follow the woman just now. Don't look at the female soup, but if you enter the wrong place and get to a place full of old ladies, that will be real torture. Today, this is paradise. Sweeping around, the young girls were soaked in the water, with bath towels on their bodies, only their heads were exposed. Seeing these is not enough, you must explore further. From the corner of his eye, he caught sight of the tall slender woman just now. Naruto plunged into the water, and the warmth immediately ignited every inch of his skin, which was extremely comfortable. Although there are many bathing girls, the tall slender girls are the most outstanding. After some words in his heart, Naruto slowly walked towards the tall slender woman, his little hands couldn't help but want to grab them. Don't get me wrong, Naruto just wants to expose the tall slender woman's true face and capture substantial evidence to prove that this guy is a spy from another country. For this, he must have a deep understanding. Seeing that Naruto had already arrived in front of the tall slender woman and was about to seize evidence, but at this moment, someone suddenly screamed. There are perverts. No, could it be that he was discovered? Naruto's heart shuddered, and his scalp couldn't help but feel a little numb. But in the next moment, Naruto was hugged into the arms of the tall slender woman, grabbed him and ran away. Little sister, bear with me, there are perverts peeping outside, I'll take you to the locker room. The tall slender woman's voice was cold, full of royal sister fan. Hearing this, Naruto felt relieved. It turned out to be a pervert who was peeping outside. He was so scared to death, he almost thought he was caught. After recovering, he felt a little soft in his head. Not only did he look up, but he saw great evil. Why is the sun's chest so exaggerated? Could this be the legendary facial cleanser? Puff. Before the nosebleed gushed out, Naruto hurriedly held his nose, trying to stabilize his mentality. Not long after, he was carried to the locker room by the tall slender woman. The dressing room at the moment is overcrowded. All the girls who just took a bath, regardless of whether their bodies are dry or not, put on their clothes immediately, worried that the pervert will see more. However, no one thought that there would be a Naruto who transformed into the locker room and sneaked in. Even if the girls were dressed quickly, Naruto would have seen it all. Naruto's stimulated blood flowed backwards and went straight to his brain. It was true that he was on the top. Sisters, don't let that pervert get away, let's chase after him. Someone took the lead in shouting, and the rest of the girls responded one after another, and then all of them rushed out of the women's bath in a mess and came to the back of the women's bathroom. This hot spring house has a wooden structure as a whole, and the pervert just now probably peeped through the gaps in the wooden boards. Behind the women's bathroom is a public hot spring, and there is a small bridge over the hot spring. Naruto can't help but feel familiar with this scene, as if he has seen it somewhere, until he saw the pervert who was beaten up. It was a middle-aged uncle with long white hair. The middle-aged uncle is tall, wearing a red coat with brown clothes inside, clogs on his feet, and armor-like equipment on his hands. He wears a forehead guard with the word, oil, written on it, red marks under his eyes, and long white hair that reaches his waist. Seeing this person, Naruto was stunned. Good guy, no wonder he feels the scene is familiar. Isn't this the place where Naruto and Jiraiya first met? It's just that in the original book, both Jiraiya and Naruto were arrested, but now it's just that Jiraiya is also treated as a pervert. Stop fighting, stop fighting. Zillai also hugged his head repeatedly and begged for mercy. The girls didn't care about it at all, even kicked, and even used the eagle grabbing skill, and Zillai became a big face when scratched. Naruto couldn't bear to see Jiraiya with a miserable face. With Jiraiya's strength, he could suppress everyone in an instant, but he didn't do it. This is the love for women. especially peeping at women's baths. Everyone has a love for beauty, and Naruto, as a man, can understand it very well. Turning his eyes, he reluctantly left the tall slender woman's arms, trotted towards the crowd, and said pitifully, "Please stop, this is my father, he should be worried about me being in the women's bath, he has no bad intentions." Quote. Naruto, who transformed into a little blonde loli, was extremely cute, and with his pitiful expression, the girls suddenly softened their hearts. In order not to destroy the innocence in little Lolita's heart, these girls didn't have the heart to expose Jiraiya in person, and after hugging Naruto one after another, they dispersed. With a wave of hugs, Naruto accepted the baptism of facial cleanser again, which was really refreshing. But before Naruto could recall it for too long, Jiraiya walked up to Naruto, puzzled and said, "Why did you lie to help me?" Naruto spread his hands and said, "We are people of the same kind, and it is also necessary to help each other, but you ruined my appreciation of the beautiful scenery, and you owe me a favor for this matter." "A fellow man? What do you mean?" Jiraiya looked at Naruto in confusion. Naruto looked around. Seeing that there was no one else, he made seals with his hands and changed back to his original appearance. "What do you mean?" Jiraiya was still puzzled. In his opinion, the little girl with long blonde hair has become a little girl with short hair. Other than that, there is no other difference. "Can't you tell? I'm a man." Naruto was speechless. "Male, he looks really handsome." Zillai was also slightly surprised, but his tone was still full of disbelief. "Do you want me to take off my pants to prove it to you?" Naruto couldn't help being anxious. Although he is fairer than Naruto in the original book, with less beard and a little more beauty, he should also be handsome. How could he be mistaken for a girl? It's terrible. Seeing that Naruto was about to take off his pants, Zillai hurriedly stopped him, nodded and said, okay, I believe it, I really believe it." Seeing this, Naruto completely gave up his defense. Zillai also made it clear that he didn't believe it, and even regarded him as a little loli with mental problems. "Forget it, believe it or not, anyway, I helped you just now, and now you have to pay back the favor." "No problem. Just tell me, it's okay to treat you to a lollipop and send it home," Zillai assured him, patting his chest. "Are you always coaxing children here?" Naruto was speechless. "My request is very simple, you take me to Mt. Meowmu Mountain." Jiraiya's expression was serious for a moment, and he said in a deep voice, "Who the hell are you?" "I am Minato's son, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto replied. Hearing this, Zillai frowned and said, "You know everything." "Of course I know, otherwise who will save you, a perverted old man?" Naruto said helplessly. He had planned to find Jiraiya before. After all, if he wanted to sign in at Meowmu Mountain in the fairyland, he could only go through Jiraiya. Now I happen to meet here, so naturally I won't be stage fright, just repeat the lines in the previous plan. "When my father sealed 9 tails, he blocked a lot of memories. Relying on these memories, I know a lot of things, including the fact that you are Jiraiya." As he spoke, Naruto revealed the 9 tails seal on his belly button. I didn't expect Minato to make such a preparation. Jiraiya also fell into deep thought, as if he was recalling something, before he opened his mouth for a long time and said, "After you are Minato, I owe you another favor just now. I can promise to be your master, and I can also take you to Mt. Myoki, but there is a prerequisite." "What conditions?" Naruto asked. Zillai also explained. "Mt. Meowmu is one of the 3 immortals. Not everyone can go there. Similarly, not everyone can become my apprentice. I need to test your ability before deciding whether to agree to you." Quote. How to test? Naruto suddenly became interested. In the original book, Naruto relied on the art of the harem to get related to Jiraiya. The current test is something Naruto has never thought of, and he also wants to know what kind of test it is. "How about this? The time limit is 1 minute, you attack me, I will not fight back, as long as my right foot is off the ground, you will pass the test." Zillai also thought about it. That's it. The excitement in Naruto's eyes disappeared immediately, not to mention letting Jiraiya's right foot off the ground. Even if he defeated Jiraiya, Naruto felt that he had a chance. Seeing that Naruto's eyes were blank, Jiraiya also thought that Naruto had given up, so he smiled and said, "Since you gave up this test opportunity, it's no wonder that my words don't count. I still want to admire the beautiful women, so I left first." Quote. Wait, who said I gave up? Naruto shook his head, stepped on his feet, and rushed towards Jiraiya. The momentum is good, but it's a pity that the strength is far from enough. Jiraiya stood still, with both hands on his back, neither dodging nor dodging. In his opinion, Naruto is no different from a little girl, they look weak and weak, there is no need to dodge, and he even wants to comment. But at the next moment, Naruto, who rushed in front of Jiraiya, quickly formed seals with his hands. Bang bang bang. The stomachs of more than a dozen shadow clones swelled at the same time, turning into chubby fat men. Naruto-style meat, egg and scallion chicken. Dozens of shadow clones rammed into Jiraiya one after another. Jiraiya, who thought Naruto was weak, suddenly froze and couldn't move. How is this going? Jiraiya also only felt that his body was out of control, as if he was imprisoned, and his head was dizzy. But the shadow clones didn't have the desire to stop and collided one after another. Successive dizziness caused Jiraiya's body to keep moving back until he fell into the hot public hot spring with a plop, screaming from the heat, and Naruto stopped and released the shadow clone. This is what happens when you underestimate Naruto. If it weren't for Naruto's need to rely on Jiraiya to go to Mt. Myogi, he wouldn't even be merciful. He could have kept multiple shadow clones, uninterrupted bombardment. Whoosh! When Jiraiya came out of the hot spring, his whole body became bright red. After shaking off the water stains on his body, he was still a little dazed. It's such a terrible ninjutsu, it actually made me unable to move at all. How about it, am I qualified? Naruto said proudly. Ji-Lai also nodded slightly. I have to admit that your ability is sufficient, but... When the subject changed, he narrowed his eyes slightly and said, you have just graduated from Ninja Academy, how can you have such strength? Generally speaking, a ninjutsu who has just graduated can only use the transformation technique, the substitute technique, the avatar technique, and if it is a prestigious family, there may be a few more family ninjutsu. But Naruto is poor and white, how could he know other ninjutsu? Not to mention the shadow clone technique, and the magical ninjutsu that can stun him. Are you suspicious of me? Naruto said speechlessly. I really don't know whether to say you are smart or stupid. I told you just now that I have the memory inherited from my father. It is normal for my strength to far exceed that of my peers. Would it be strange if my strength is poor? You were right. This is also true when I think about it carefully. Then what are you doing now? I have no obligation to answer you. Every ninjutsu is my bottom line. Even if you are my father's teacher, I don't want to tell you. Naruto said in a deep voice. Besides, I just asked you to return the favor and take me for a stroll around Mount Miamu, but I didn't say I would be your apprentice. If there is no system, Naruto would like to become Jiraiya's disciple, but now, even if he is as strong as the third generation, he is still his follower. What reason does he have to be Jiraiya's apprentice? What, you don't want to be my apprentice? Zilai was also shocked. How many people tried their best to become his apprentice? He thought that Naruto was just being reserved, but he never thought that Naruto would be really unwilling. Do not want to. Naruto resolutely refused. I just haven't been to Shondi, so I want to see it. Don't worry, I will definitely not cause you any trouble when I go to Mount Miamu. It's okay. Hearing what Naruto said, Jiraiya really had no reason to refuse. Hold on to me, I'll take you to see it now. It is good. Naruto grabbed the corner of Jiraiya's clothes, and Jiraiya formed a mudra with both hands, performing reverse psychic. Oh, accompanied by a puff of white smoke, the figures of the two disappeared from the spot. Naruto felt dizzy, and when he opened his eyes again, the surroundings were no longer hot springs, but a huge deep valley. At this moment, Naruto and Jiraiya are also at the corner of the deep valley. The place is full of huge toad statues, each of which is several stories high, and the scene is very spectacular. Wow hoo hoo. On the opposite side of the stone statue, there is still a huge toad stone statue, but behind it is a huge waterfall. Seeing this scene, Naruto couldn't help but sigh. This is Miamu Mountain, that's right, and this stone statue is not a real stone statue, but the petrification caused by the failure of the toads in the process of absorbing natural energy To put it simply, as many stone statues there are as many failed toads. A mortal mode is strong, but not everyone can learn it. After feeling casually for a while, Naruto found a clean place to sit down. Aren't you going to look around? This is Miaomu Mountain, one of the 3 immortal lands. Zilai also asked. Naruto shook his head. It's said to be a fairy land. You brought me here without authorization, which is probably out of order. I'll just stay here later. It's enough to feel the atmosphere of the fairy land. Your boy is quite sensible, so you can feel it well. Zilai was also happy to relax. Naruto nodded slightly and stopped speaking. This time he and Zilai also came to Mount Miaomu. The purpose is very simple, that is to check in. There is no need to run around and add unnecessary trouble. Now as long as you wait patiently for the successful sign-in, you can go home. An hour flew by, and then a system notification sounded in Naruto's mind. It was detected that the host stayed in Mount Miaomu for 1 hour, and the check-in was successful. Since Mt. Miaomu is one of the 3 immortal lands, a special gift bag will be rewarded. Special gift package. Naruto's eyes lit up, and he became interested immediately. In the past, it was a direct reward, and it was the first time he had received a special gift bag, so he really wanted to open it right away. But now in Mount Miaomu, he could only forcefully hold back his excitement, and said to Jiraiya, I feel the same, let's go back. This kind of opportunity is rare, are you sure to go back? I'm sure. Okay, hold on to me, I'll take you back. Grasping the corner of Jiraiya's clothes, Naruto felt dizzy and dazed for a while. When he opened his eyes again, he had already returned to the hot spring house. You have also paid back the favor, and we will not owe each other in the future. You can continue to appreciate art, and I will wait for your masterpiece to come out. Naruto waved his hand and waved goodbye to Jiraiya. He naturally wanted to accompany Zilai to explore art together, but the special gift package fascinated him even more. Back home, Naruto couldn't wait to turn on the system. System, open the special gift bag. The special gift bag is being opened, please wait a moment. The gift bag has been successfully opened, and the rewards are as follows. Fairy mode, immortal mode. By absorbing a certain amount of natural energy to create Senjutsu chakra, you can greatly enhance the power of your own ninjutsu, body skills, and illusion. After using the fairy mode, the body will change to a certain extent, and only the fairy mode with eyeshadow is complete. A Master Ball. Master Ball. Pokeball is an important prop in Pokemon. Using this prop, you can capture Pokemon and become your partner. The Master Ball is the boss of all Pokeballs, also known as the Gate Ball. It is secretly manufactured by Shiroof Company. The number is very rare. Basically, if you get it, there will be no Pokemon that you can't recover. The effect is 100% chance to recover any Pokemon. Colossus Bash. Colossus Smite. Galio's passive skill. The host will trigger a Colossus Smash every 5 seconds during the battle, gaining additional damage according to the percentage. Looking at the contents of the gift bag, Naruto couldn't be calm for a long time. This wave of sign-ins has really made a lot of money. Originally, Naruto's expectation was only the Sage mode or psychic spells, but now there is not only the Sage mode, but also a Pokeball. Pokeballs are similar to Spiritism, both of which are carried out with pets. But psychic art has a disadvantage. In the original book, Naruto psychically produced Toad Bunta, and the other party was reluctant, but gradually recognized it. Naruto didn't have time to cultivate feelings with these psychic beasts. The Pokeball perfectly solves this problem. As long as it is captured by the Pokeball, the captured object will obey the command like brainwashing. This Master Ball has a 100% chance of being caught, and the system's wave is simply too majestic. As for the last Galio's passive, I think it is because of the huge toadstone statue, which brought about the mutant gains. It triggers an additional damage every 5 seconds. If you cooperate with the Bamindungia and grasp the timing well, you will be invincible. Naruto couldn't help but feel thankful. Fortunately, Tam wasn't passive, otherwise he would have to stick out his tongue to lick others, so he wouldn't have told him to die. After being excited for a long time, Naruto was stunned suddenly, and realized later, no, the system, are you kidding me? This Master Ball is useless, where do you want me to find Pokemon? Naruto came back to his senses, and suddenly wanted to cry but had no tears. You know, he traveled through the world of Naruto, not the world of Pokemon. How could there be Pokemon in Naruto? This wave was completely played by the system. Reminder. if the host wants to use the Master Ball, the system will transfer the host to the Pokemon world for 1 hour. Would you like to transfer? Huh, where did you add this setting? Naruto didn't expect that the system would come up with an idea. Just thinking about it carefully, Naruto came to a sudden. Before, because of the Naraku seeing technique, he saw his sad parents and had a breakdown. At that time, he asked the system if he could return to the original world, and the system explained that the current authority was insufficient. There is also the Wanyao system that I encountered at the beginning. After that system disappears, looking for other hosts, it is estimated that it also has the ability to travel through the world. In this way, the system has always had the ability to transfer the host, but he has too few sign-ins and does not have advanced permissions. Thinking of this, Naruto's vision suddenly widened. Originally, he just wanted to work hard to improve his strength in case he couldn't defeat the big boss that Hokage didn't appear on the stage, but now, Naruto can think about more things. Although I don't know how to elevate the authority, it is correct to keep signing in. He will have more fun when he has the authority to travel through the world one day. What am I thinking about? Naruto quickly threw out the thoughts in his head. This YY is not realistic at all. Although he has a lot of abilities now, if he really meets a ruthless boss, with his new fighting experience, he will only be played to death. Right now, the most important thing is to work hard to sign in. When he blows his breath, he can breathe every second, and he will not be too late. Confirm transfer, Naruto said to the system. Transfer started. Transferring. Successfully transferred. Numerous white lights lit up Naruto's body, making him unable to open his eyes at all, but when he closed his eyes, he only felt as if he was in free fall. His whole body was out of control, and his soul was almost about to come out of his body. When he heard the system beep and opened his eyes again, he was already in a dense forest. Is this the world of Pokemon? It feels no different from the forest in the Naruto world. Naruto muttered, complete nonsense. Except for the rare and exotic species in the world of cultivating immortals, the forest settings in other worlds are basically the same, just ordinary forests. Reminder: the transfer is limited to 1 hour. The host is requested to search for the Pokemon he likes as soon as possible. Accompanied by the system prompt, a translucent hourglass appeared in front of Naruto out of thin air, and the sand flowed away little by little, and it was estimated that it would be completely gone in an hour. Now is not the time to think wildly, you must hurry up. Naruto thought to himself, then clenched his fists and decisively opened the 8 gates. Opening the first 3 doors of the 8-door Dungeon is a trivial matter for Naruto. With the recovery ability of 9 tails, he can be completely harmless. Whoosh! Stepping on his feet, his figure suddenly rushed forward, and his speed was several times faster than before. Who would have imagined that, as the profound meaning of taijutsu, Bamindungia was only used by Naruto to hurry. But even so, after searching for a few minutes, Naruto still didn't find anything. After all, he was alone, and in the forest of Nuoda, it was impossible to find the Pokemon he wanted in just 1 hour. Wild Pokemon can be seen everywhere. Although Naruto doesn't know much about Pokemon, he also knows that what can be seen everywhere is garbage. The easiest and most effective way is to test the attack, give it a punch, and you will know how strong it is. In the few minutes just now, he had already knocked down more than a dozen wild Pokemon. Call. Naruto lifted the Bamindungia. It is not advisable to act recklessly by himself, it is too much luck. It is more reliable to search in a large area. Multiple shadow clone technique. Naruto formed a seal quickly, and 1,000 shadow clones appeared along with the white smoke. Everyone scatter and search, and when you encounter a powerful Pokemon, remember to leave the mark of the Flying Thunder God as soon as possible, and disband. With a big wave of Naruto's hand, the shadow clone scattered away, but he stayed where he was, waiting quietly. The purpose of leaving the mark of Flying Thunder God is very simple. If a powerful shadow clone finds a powerful Pokemon and cannot defeat it, it may be too late for Naruto to rush over. Staying in place, waiting for the shadow clone to return, he can also check the situation as soon as possible. Although 1,000 shadow clones are not enough to support the opening of the 8-door Dungeon, but fortunately there are enough of them, it is more efficient than him looking for them alone. It's just 1,000th of Naruto, and his strength is greatly reduced. In a short time, multiple shadow clones were blown up, and the memory was sent back to the main body. Too weak. No, just wait. Naruto pursed his lips tightly, watching the sand go by, feeling more and more anxious. Having Pokemon defeating his shadow clone can only prove that he is stronger than 1,000th of him, but this is not enough. According to the memory passed back, Naruto can distinguish the strength of each Pokemon. Anyway, there is already the mark of Flying Thunder God. If it is really not good, then go find the strongest one and subdue it. Now, no matter how anxious he is, he still has to wait patiently. There is only one Master Ball, so it must not be wasted easily. Time passed by every minute and every second, and seeing that the hourglass was about to end, he stood up abruptly. I can't wait any longer. However, at this moment, a memory suddenly rushed into his mind. The anxiety on his face instantly turned into joy. This guy can do it. After releasing all the shadow clones, Naruto's figure flashed, and he appeared in a bush through the mark of Flying Thunder God. For Pokemon, Naruto can be said to be a complete passerby and doesn't understand at all. The only powerful Pokemon he has ever heard of is Mewtwo. In addition to overwhelming combat power, Cheomon can also use various superpowers such as remote movement, weather manipulation, mind creation, time regression, memory modification, and control of other people's thoughts at will. This is what Naruto wants most among the Pokemon he knows, but he just thought about it. How could he have such good luck to meet him? At this moment, the Pokemon in front of him was not the strongest Pokemon he had encountered with his shadow avatar, but one of the few Pokemon he knew. Taking out the Master Ball, Naruto said helplessly, "It's a pity that this Master Ball is lost, but it's up to you, Squirrel." That's right, in front of Naruto was a blue fool with a round head. Anyway, I haven't encountered a super powerful Pokemon like Mewtwo, and other wild Pokemon can't catch Naruto's eyes. Squirtle can still be a mascot to make up for Naruto's inner wounds. Throwing out the Master Ball, without the slightest accident, the squirrel turned into a halo and was sealed in the Master Ball. Congratulations to the host for successfully subduing the Squirtle. Congratulations. Naruto was speechless. What is there to celebrate? Do you think this is a crane machine that cost $1 to catch? This is a Master Ball. A Master Ball, it's such a waste. Jenny. Being transferred back home by the system, Naruto looked at the squirrel in front of him and didn't know what to do for a while. Originally, he wanted a powerful Pokemon, but in the end only a mascot came. After pondering for a long time, Naruto's eyes suddenly lit up. What's the matter with the Squirtle? I can train you into a teenage mutant ninja turtle. In Naruto, many psychic beasts can be cultivated into ninjas, and Jenny Turtle is no exception. As long as they are well cultivated, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are not just a fantasy. Open the system panel, and Naruto checks the properties of the Squirtle. I don't know, I'm scared. Is the squirrel so fierce? The evolution chain of Squirtle is recorded in detail on the system panel. Squirtle can evolve into Kami. Kami can evolve into Blastoise. Blastoise can mage Super Evolution after becoming Super Blastoise. Although the size remains the same, all attributes will be improved. However, this is not the final form. In the battle, the Super Water Arrow Turtle can also be Super Giant. After Super Giantization, its height can reach 25 meters. You must know that the official height of Toadbunta is only 17 meters. From the size alone, the Super Water Arrow Turtle Giant wins up. Unlike Toadbunta himself, who is only a toad and needs another weapon, the Super Water Arrow Turtle carries a total of 31 water cannons, large and small, of which 12 main cannons can change directions freely to achieve all-round attacks. The water attribute moves it uses or also it will become a Super Giant Water Cannon Bombardment, which is too strong to be a mess. Good guy. Naruto called him good guy. After watching the panel of the Squirtle, Naruto just felt that it was outrageous. Although not as strong as Cheomon, the final form is far beyond Naruto's expectations. At first, Naruto said he wanted to raise the squirrel just because he didn't want to waste this Pokemon, but its actual value is really enough for Naruto to cultivate it. Jenny. Hearing the squirrels shout again, Naruto no longer frowns, only uncontrollable joy on his face. Jenny Turtle, come with me and take you to eat delicious food. It's getting late, so I'm not in a hurry to practice. I'll have a good meal first. Unlike normal fools, Squirtle does not crawl on 4 limbs, but walks on 2 legs. With a height of 50 centimeters, it follows Naruto like a child. Squirrels are gentle in appearance and have high savvy. After simple teaching, squirrels can learn to use spoons and forks. As for chopsticks, there is no need to think about them. Squirrels only have 3 fingers, and it is too difficult to use chopsticks. As an omnivorous creature, the squirrel is not picky when it comes to food, and eats whatever it buys, which is especially reassuring for Naruto. After a lot of eating and drinking, Squirtle's affinity reached the full point, and he completely obeyed Naruto's orders. Although the squirrel can only speak Geni and can't speak human language, Naruto can understand what the squirrel is saying miraculously, so communication is naturally not a problem. No words all night. The next morning, Naruto got up early and brought Squirtle to the 3rd training ground. The genius is bright. He thought it was early, but there are already several figures in the 3rd training ground who are training hard. Shaoli Ning Sasuke every day, let alone these hard-working guys. What Naruto didn't expect was that Sakura was also training. In order to be with Sasuke, Sakura is really desperate, but unfortunately, without Naruto's permission, it is impossible for Sakura to be with Sasuke again in this life, and it is to blame for Sakura's attitude towards Naruto is too bad. Naruto, why are you here? This is. Sasuke was slightly taken aback when he saw Squirtle beside Naruto. Naruto explained, this is my new pet Squirtle. Starting today, it will also join your training. Geni Turtle. Sasuke looked at the squirrel with great interest. It was also the first time he had seen a blue-skinned fool. The most important thing was that the squirrel stood on 2 legs, which was very different from ordinary fools. It just looks silly, and I don't know how effective it is in actual combat. Open. Ning Si, who was on the side, didn't say much harsh words, and rolled his eyes directly. Under Bai Yan's strong insight, Ning Si shook his head slightly. There is no chakra in the body, and there is no training value at all. Ningji, you started again. Naruto said helplessly. How many times have I said that fate can be changed, so what if there is no chakra? As long as you work hard the day after tomorrow, you will be fine. This time, without waiting for Ning Si to refute, Shaoli said with a sad face, are you working hard the day after tomorrow? No matter how hard you work, you can't compare with talent. Hearing this, Naruto was slightly taken aback. It seems that Shaoli has not recovered from yesterday's blow. Walking forward, Naruto patted Shaoli on the shoulder, and cheered up, Shaoli, you were wrong. I remember that you were also the tail of the crane, but your current physical strength is not as strong as yours. Among the graduates, it is also one of the best, and this is the result of hard work. Really? Shaoli hesitated. Naruto continued. Indeed, people's starting points are different, but there are only a handful of absolute geniuses, and most of them are working hard on training. Just like Neji, he was so much stronger than you. But if you opening the 5 gates, it is not certain who will win and who will lose. If you don't work hard, can you achieve what you are today? Hearing this, Shaoli fell into deep thought. Naruto turned his head to look at Neji, and continued to preach. Let's talk about you. You originally thought that fate could not be changed, but isn't it changed now? That, indeed. Ning Si touched the forehead protector subconsciously, and the imprint of the caged bird inside had already been removed, which was the best proof that fate could be changed. Seeing that both of them had a good reflection, Naruto nodded in satisfaction, and finally got to the point. So, don't underestimate my Squirtle, don't think it's weak now, but as long as you work hard, you can still become super strong. Did you say so, Squirtle? Geni. Squirtle nodded vigorously, his expression still naive. Stretching out his hand to touch Geni's smooth tortoise. Shun's smooth head, Naruto encouraged him. Geni, from today on, you will train with Shaoli, you can do whatever he does, you can do it. Geni. The Squirtle walked up to Shaoli, and stretched out his cute little paws friendly. Seeing this, the pensive Shaoli also stretched out his hand, held the little paw of the Geni turtle, and said with an uplifting expression, okay, let's work hard together, this will not be a waste of youth. Is it really okay? Sasuke asked worriedly. During this day of training, Sasuke was very aware of Shaoli's training method, which was almost a life-threatening training method. How could Squirtle endure such high-intensity training? Don't worry, it's fine. Naruto waved his hand. After the systematic transformation of the squirrel does not need to devour the same Pokemon. As long as it completes the intensive training, it can upgrade and evolve. When the Geni evolves into a kami, you can start absorbing chakra and start ninjutsu training. Squirrels with innate skills do not need special care from Naruto. As long as they have been trained to a certain level, they will naturally comprehend innate skills. Turning his head to look at Sasuke, Naruto narrowed his eyes and said, "With this spare time, you might as well worry about yourself. If you don't want to train with Neji, I'll train you two alone." Don't, I'll practice with Neji right now." Sasuke's expression changed. Thinking that Naruto punched out the huge crater yesterday, he couldn't help being frightened. Neji is even more so, immediately starting to fight against Sasuke. That attitude, how diligent and diligent. Watching Neji and Sasuke fight, Xiaoli led the Squirtle to train. Naruto set up a parasol, leaned comfortably on the recliner, and became a supervisor. As for Tiantian and Sakura's training, Naruto didn't bother to watch or care about it. In the past, Naruto would still kneel and lick Tiantian, the little rich woman, or please Sakura for spending money at Haruno's house, but now, he has Kato's assets that he will not cut off and manage, and when he has no worries about food and clothing, these two even the little girl couldn't get into his eyes. "You guys stop." Naruto looked at it for a while, but felt that it was boring, and there was a lot of useless work, so he interrupted everyone. Amid everyone's doubts, Naruto came to the huge pit that was blown out yesterday, quickly formed a seal, and shouted, "Water escape, the art of water dragon bullet." A ferocious water dragon appeared behind Naruto, but Naruto didn't intend to attack, but filled the water dragon into the huge pit. The original huge pit turned into a small lake in an instant. "What does that mean?" Sasuke asked, puzzled. "Fighting the enemy is different. You don't necessarily only fight on land. What if you meet a ninja who is good at water warfare? You have to adapt to different situations in advance." Naruto said indifferently. "From now on, you all go into the water for training, so that you can fight in water as if you were walking on flat ground, without affecting your performance, do you understand?" As expected of Naruto, he can think of such a good idea. Xiaoli likes weight training the most, so he rushed into the water without saying a word, and started swimming in circles. Jenny. Squirtle jumped into the water excitedly. As a fool, he can't outrun Xiaoli on land, but it's different when he enters the water. Not only is the speed not slow, but it has sped up a bit, faintly able to catch up with Xiaoli's swimming speed. The principle is very simple. The shell of the Jenny turtle is not only used to protect itself, the round shell and the surface grooves reduce its resistance in the water, allowing it to swim at high speed. "You can catch up with me. Good job. I will work harder. If you swim 1 lap, I will swim 2 laps. If I can't do it, I will do another lap." Xiaoli raised his arms and shouted, and then his speed increased sharply, instantly opening the distance from the squirrel. Jenny. Squirtle has a gentle temperament, but he doesn't give up easily, and also starts to speed up to catch up. Seeing that one person and one fool had found their position and started weight training in the water, Neji and Sasuke did not move for a long time. As fighting geniuses, their brains are very sharp, and it is impossible to understand Naruto's intentions so easily. Is it like walking on the ground? Ning-Si quickly found the key, and then formed mudras with his hands, attached chakra to his feet, and strode towards the water. Snapped. Soon, Ning-Si stood on the surface of the water, and he couldn't help showing a smile on his face, but before he could wait for a long time, Xiaoli and the Jenny turtle swam and created waves, which made Ning-Si tilt his body. Fortunately, Ning-Si reacted quickly enough, increased the chakra output, stepped on the water and retreated to the ground. Seeing this, Sasuke also reacted. Unlike the ground, there are unstable factors on the water surface. The constant and fixed chakra output like climbing a tree does not work on the water surface. You must always observe and change the chakra output in order to stand firm on the water surface. It seems to be a water battle, but it is difficult enough just to stand on the water, and you must accurately grasp the chakra. This training has to be said to be very difficult, but it also exercises the actual combat level. Naruto, as expected of you. Sasuke couldn't help giving Naruto a thumbs up. For Sasuke, the training effect will definitely far exceed everyone. With the factor of the seal, as long as a large amount of chakra is released, his seal cannot be controlled. If he can precisely control the chakra, he can further master the scale of the release of the seal, which will help him master it faster. Curse seal. Okay, let's try it quickly. If you delay, Neji will be proficient. Then your self-confidence should be hit again. Naruto waved his hand helplessly, signaling Sasuke to act quickly. It's not that Naruto thinks Neji is more talented than Sasuke, it's just because Neji belongs to the Hyuga clan. Open. I saw Ning-Si forming seals with his hands and opening his eyes. The strongest ability of Baian is insight, which can see through the body. With his white eyes, he can easily see the chakra gathered on the soles of his feet, walking towards the water surface, and he can also perform the fastest proportional release according to the degree of water waves rushing towards him. Compared with other people's blind man feeling the elephant, Ning-Si's move is no different from cheating. Size big size. Ning-Si flew to stand on the surface of the water again, and muttered in a low voice according to the fluctuation of the water waves. Sure enough, through observation with supercilious eyes, he can stand steadily even when the water waves are swaying. Whoosh! At this moment, a stone flew towards him quickly. Ning-Si was busy defending, the chakra under his feet had no time to change, and, plop, became a drowned chicken. Naruto, what are you doing? Neji frowned and looked at Naruto. He was about to succeed, but was interrupted by Naruto. Could it be that Naruto was partial to Sasuke? Naruto said indifferently. The process of actual combat changes rapidly. If you only look at your feet, the enemy will have already chopped off your head. It's, indeed. Ning-Si was taken aback, and his anger was reduced by half. Actual combat is not just as simple as standing on the water, but also fighting. In that case, the changes of the water waves are full of variables. Baian provided him with convenience, and it also made him think a little bit. He had to jump out of this pattern and make full use of Baian as a tool instead of completely relying on Baian. Thinking of this, Ning-Si humbly said, "Thank you, Naruto, I understand." Just understand, keep training. Naruto glanced at Tien Tien and Xiaoying from the corner of his eye, and scolded, "You two don't just kill the target, I know you are afraid of being seen when you enter the water, but don't run away. The 4 people in the water are free to live target, practice with the 4 of them." "But what if we hurt them?" Tien Tien worried. "That's because you are not good at learning. You practice ninjutsu so hard that you can point to where to hit. There are so many non-lethal parts in the human body. As long as you shoot accurately, they will not die." Naruto preached. "Besides, they are not dead. If they can't avoid your shuriken, they are trash, and they deserve their injuries." "Naruto, what you said is too much." Sakura frowned and said, "We're all companions, so there's no need to be so cruel, right? You can quit if you don't want to practice, no one is stopping you." Naruto said coldly, "The purpose of training is for actual combat. Getting injured during training is far better than being killed by the enemy." Before Sakura could continue speaking, Sasuke interrupted coldly, "Sakura, if you don't want to train, just quit, I will accept training." He knows that only high-intensity training can make people grow quickly. Ning-Si nodded and said in agreement, "I also receive training, every day, you can safely throw it boldly, and it's okay to aim at the vital point. Naruto is right, if we can't stop it, even if we are not good at learning, we deserve the injury." "Okay, I will try my best." Tiantian still trusts Neji very much, and agrees to train with Neji. PFF'd. Xiaoli stopped swimming, and the smile on his face became serious. "Sakura, although I like you, I can't support you on this point of view. I also agree with Naruto's point of view." Jenny Turtle pats the water for support. "Everyone, why are you like this? Why can you accept such training? Sakura can't understand at all. Proper training is enough, why do you want to kill him? How can the flowers in the greenhouse understand the horror of the ninja world?" Naruto shook his head in disdain, and said to the rest of the people, "I have always believed in one thing, and I hope you can understand it. That is, to endure hardships is to be a master. No pain, no gain." This sentence instantly inspired everyone. Naruto pondered. "I also hope that everyone will not misinterpret it. Suffering does not mean that you will become stronger after suffering. But I can guarantee that this will allow you to know how to endure more than ordinary people, so as to cultivate a resolute character. As ninja, we should endure hardships, and today's hard work will definitely make you more comfortable in actual combat." Jenny Turtle slapped the water and agreed. "As a fool, it is the most patient." Sasuke, Ninki, Xiaoli and Li Tiantian and the four of them didn't speak, but they were trembling all over, and they understood clearly. Okay, don't get emotional, hurry up and train, for the official game in a month's time, get spirits, and you're done. Naruto clapped his hands, and everyone immediately waved their arms and shouted, it's over. Immediately afterwards, everyone started devil training, and the scene was hot. Seeing this scene, Naruto lay back on the couch in relief. Taking advantage of Kakashi and Kai's absence, he served as a temporary instructor, and he felt a sense of accomplishment in his heart. Of course, his original intention was not to inspire everyone. At first, he just felt that the fight was boring and he didn't have much fun watching it. It's not like now, every day, living people throw knives, Neji Sasuke crazily dodges, and he has to be careful not to fall into the water, there are still people around him making trouble. Naruto dare say that this is more exciting than a circus performance. Moreover, the most exciting thing is not now. After Neji and Sasuke have fully mastered chakra and can move freely on the water surface, the water duel will definitely be more exciting. The only thing that makes Naruto unhappy is that there is another person on the shore that affects his perception. Naruto couldn't help but said, Sakura, if you don't want to train, just go back, don't hinder the training. Sakura didn't speak, just sobbed softly. Crying can solve the problem. Let others sympathize. Not to mention that Naruto hates this kind of needless crying, but everyone in the water is training hard, who has time to talk to Sakura. I want to cry and go home and cry. Don't worry, Konoha is still very safe. Even if you hide in Konoha for a lifetime and don't become a ninja, you will not be in danger. Naruto persuaded. In his opinion, there is really no need for Sakura to be a ninja. Apart from causing trouble and being wrong, how can you be like a ninja? Every ninja has his own way of ninja, and he has gone through a lot of hardships in order to achieve his goal. Isn't it delicious to follow the crowd blindly like Sakura, just to follow Sasuke and be an otaku fan at home? Naruto really can't get used to Sakura living in such a twisted way, it's really annoying to be thankless. Boom. In the water, Neji used kunai to block Tenten's shuriken, but the direction of the shuriken's bounce was random, and the direction of this shuriken's bounce was exactly where Sakura was. Naruto didn't notice it, but fortunately Sasuke intercepted it with a shuriken at the first time, so that Sakura was not stabbed. Sasuke, thank you. Sakura immediately said gratefully. I knew you didn't give up on me, for you, I will work hard to adapt to this training. You think too much, Sasuke said coldly. I saved you only because you were a companion in the 7th class. But the way you are dragging your legs now is really an eyesore. An eyesore? Sakura was stunned, her tears stopped instantly. Sasuke frowned and said, I don't have time to play house with you, so hurry up and disappear from here, don't delay everyone's training progress. Not to mention liking Sakura, he is getting more and more annoyed by Sakura now. But we are class 7, we are a whole. Sakura didn't give up. As a whole, everyone is training, but you are the only one who backs down. When it comes to the battlefield, how can I trust you as a laggard? Sasuke said coldly. Naruto is right, you should stop being a ninja, this path is not suitable for you. In my opinion, you are not as good as Squirtle, you can go at ease, I will fight with Kakashi to explain everything, let the squirrel take your place. Squirrels who have no strength are training hard, so why does Sakura have any reason to back down? From Sasuke's point of view, Sakura just wants to play comfortably. But he is different, he still wants revenge, what he needs is to grow up and become stronger. Sasuke will only make the same choice for anyone who is holding back, and that is to give up. I will never be involved again for a lifetime. Not as good as a squirrel. You mean I'm not as good as a brute? Sakura said hysterically. She never thought that Sasuke would compare her with a fool. Jenny. The squirrel stopped swimming. It couldn't speak, but it could understand human speech. It immediately patted the water to express its dissatisfaction, and its watery eyes were full of grievances. Snapped. This time, before Sasuke could speak, Naruto stepped forward and slapped Sakura hard on the face. Xiao Ying, who was knocked to the ground, spurted blood immediately, and there was a red and swollen palm print on her face, and her whole body was ashamed. You actually hit me. Sakura looked at Naruto in disbelief. Jenny is my partner, if you dare to call it a beast, I will make you die ugly. Naruto snorted coldly. His eyes were full of murderous intent, and he had already started a real fire. He was impatient with Sakura, but it was just impatient. At worst, he would not interact with her, but he would not take the initiative to target Sakura either. Looking back on the past, it was Sakura who took the initiative to provoke each time, and since he had eaten at Haruno's house for a while, Naruto endured them one by one. But in this matter, Ford is all the rage. Indeed, the squirrel is just a fool, and Naruto is also making fun of it. But from the moment he tamed the Squirtle, he had deprived the squirrel of his freedom, and correspondingly, he would be responsible for the squirrel for the rest of his life. It depends on the owner to beat a dog. How could he allow others to insult the squirrel? Not to mention, the person who insulted him was Haruno Sakura, who he hated the most. Looking at Squirrel, who was full of grievances and deeply shocked, Naruto wished he could punch Sakura's dog's head off. Forget it, Naruto, it won't happen. Sasuke interrupted. Hearing this, Sakura's expression brightened, her eyes filled with hope. Sure enough, you. Before she could finish speaking, Sasuke continued. There's no need to cause you to be investigated by the village because of her. It's not worth it. Just let her go wherever she likes, out of sight and out of mind. It's really not possible, I'll rush. Ning-Si clenched his fists. As a follower, he who has been redeemed is willing to rush for Naruto. Tien Tien and Xiao Li on the side are not followers, but they also have a bad face. Xiao Li said in a deep voice, I'm sorry, Sakura, from now on, I won't like you. I misjudged the person before. I didn't expect you to call Squirtle a beast. I really can't bear it. Nodding every day. Whether it is a psychic beast or other creatures that assist in combat, they should be equal companions. Not to mention, Kai's psychic beast is also a ninja turtle, and this beast also made the third class feel uncomfortable. Xiao Ying looked at the crowd and felt that they were so strange, so indifferent and frightening. She got up and ran away without looking back. Naruto walked towards Squirtle and comforted him. Don't worry, I won't let anyone bully you. Jenny. Squirrel had teary eyes. Seeing this, Naruto couldn't take it anymore, and said in a deep voice, you guys continue to train, I'll go out for a while. Don't be impulsive. Sasuke pulled Naruto and said. Naruto pulled his hand away, and said calmly, don't worry, she doesn't deserve to dirty my hands, I will let her know what social death is. Leaving the training ground, Naruto went straight to Hokage's office. On the way, when he thought of Squirtle who was full of grievances, Naruto wished he could tear Sakura in half. But in that case, it was not enough for Naruto to completely calm down. The death of the physical body is only a moment, and it is impossible for Sakura to know the pain. It is necessary to use social death to make Sakura suffer mental torture uninterrupted. Only in this way, it will be more relieved. Not long after, Naruto appeared at the door of Hokage's office. Before Naruto could knock, the door opened, and it was Kakashi who opened it for him. Why are you here? Naruto sighed lightly. Looking inside, there are two other people inside. One is the third generation sitting in the main seat, and the other is Kai standing next to the third generation. At this moment, the crystal ball on the desktop is displaying Naruto's image. When did it start this time? Naruto frowned. 3 generations responded. It started when you woke up this morning. So, you all saw what happened this morning? Naruto asked. I've seen it all. The third generation took a puff of cigarette and explained. Yesterday Kakashi and Kai told me that you can open 8 doors, but when I looked at it with a crystal ball, you had already left the practice field and didn't look at it again. This morning, when the two noticed that you were going to the training ground, they came directly to my side and wanted me to watch your performance together. Kai then said, I didn't expect that you would come up with such a good way to train other people when Kakashi and I were not here. You did a good job of teaching people according to their needs. Especially the sentence that you have to suffer from suffering. To be a master, I misunderstood you before. I think you have endured a lot of pressure, tried a lot of training, and you have extraordinary talent, so you can open the 8 doors. I am sorry for questioning you. Quote. As he spoke, he bowed deeply. Kakashi explained. Kai is such a character. He is straightforward and informal. If he bows, you can accept it, otherwise he will feel uncomfortable. Then I accept the apology, but why did you follow me and doubt me? Naruto frowned at Kakashi. Kakashi shook his head and said, "You are the son of the fourth generation, and you have 9 tails in your body. I can understand the talent. I came with Kai, and I didn't doubt you. It's just that I didn't expect to see your internal problems." He knew that if he and Kai were present, without Naruto's temporary teaching, Sakura's problems would not be exposed. He still has a headache about this. Internal. Correct me, Sakura has nothing to do with me now, Naruto said flatly. The third generation then asked, "Anyway, Sakura is also a member of Konoha, and I don't want to see my colleagues kill each other." Although he is a follower of Naruto, he is also Hokage of Konoha village. If there is room for relaxation, he still wants to make peace. Naruto sneered and said, "Colleagues killing each other? You really know how to joke. Which colleague would call your partner a beast? If I call your psychic beast a beast, will you be angry?" 3 generations were suddenly speechless. Naruto continued, "You already know what happened just now through the crystal ball, and I also said that I will let Sakura die socially." "What is social death?" Sandai asked. Naruto explained, "The scandal was exposed and everyone ostracized me to such an extent that I feel ashamed. For example, let everyone in Muya village know that you like to go to the women's bathhouse to peep. You are a wretched and perverted old man. Say what will happen." The third generation pondered. "Then you will be disgusted and excluded by your fellow villagers, wishing you could find a rope to hang yourself, completely unable to see people." Sigh. Is this social death? It's really terrifying. That's right, that's how it is. Some people are alive, but she is dead. Naruto played with taste. "I won't add anything to Sakura's matter, I just want to publicize this matter, and that's enough." Kakashi thought about it and said, "Konoha village relies on ninjas the most, and psychic beasts and ninjas are close partners. Even if they are just ordinary subdued beasts, they will be treated as companions. If Sakura scolds Jenny if the news that the tortoise is an animal gets out, then Sakura will really die socially. Naruto, youth will inevitably do wrong things, can't you give her a chance?" Kai hesitated, his forbearance is youth, and he still needs to be given a chance to correct his mistakes. Hearing this, Naruto laughed. "It's still the same sentence, your psychic beast is the same as the squirrel turtle. Some people call your ninja turtle a beast, what do you do?" "Of course it's him." Kai blurted out that the ninja turtle has been with him for so many years. It can be said that he has regarded the ninja turtle as his closest partner, or a relative. How could he allow others to scold his ninja turtle? However, he was stunned after speaking. He and Naruto empathize in this regard. If it were him, maybe Sakura would have been wiped out just now. What qualifications do you have to persuade Naruto to give up? No one can bear this matter, this is a truly unforgivable sin. You should remember this time, don't just persuade people to be kind without knowing anything. Naruto changed the subject and played with taste, but I will also give Sakura a chance to correct. I will publicize this matter. If she can't bear it, it is a social death. But this is also an opportunity. As long as she dares to come out and admit her mistakes, she will not be completely socially dead. Not only that, Sakura's mind will also be improved rapidly, and she will become calm and reliable." That's true. 3 generations pondered. As long as you can survive this hurdle, you will be truly reborn. If you can't make it through, it proves that you are not qualified to be a ninja, and it is acceptable to be a villager, at least no one is killed. Regarding this statement, Kai and Kakashi both nodded, indicating that they could accept it. But everyone didn't notice the smile on Naruto's mouth. Can Naruto really be so kind? Of course not. He just changed the rhetoric and added a predictable condition, and the purpose was to let Sakura completely die socially. Based on what he knew about Sakura, Sakura would definitely not be able to survive. Even if he dared to go out to accept the accusations from everyone, then Naruto still has follow-up plans. He can completely transform into villagers with a large number of shadow clones, and act as a navy to continue to ferment public anger, making the villagers feel that Sakura is unforgivable. Of course, what bad thoughts could Naruto have? These are all learned online in previous lives. If you want to cause a commotion, as long as you have a fuse and solid evidence, you can cooperate with the navy to push the situation forward. This trick is basically invincible. If it wasn't for Sakura really pushing Naruto, Naruto wouldn't be so angry. It's still the same sentence, if you don't make a move, it's fine, if you make a move, you will die. The fault was that Sakura provoked someone she shouldn't. Chapter 91. Since everyone agrees, let's start. Naruto waved his hand and was about to leave. And many more. The third generation interrupted. Naruto, this matter should be left to Anbu, and you don't have to worry about it. Give it to Anbu. Naruto was slightly taken aback, and soon realized the intention of the third generation. The third generation is obviously worried that he will go out and make a big publicity, which will make Sakura unable to think about it. If it is left to Anbu, the speed of news dissemination is controllable, and the news can be revealed slowly, giving Sakura time to reflect. It has to be said that the three generations have broken their hearts for the villagers. But Naruto doesn't care, so what if the third generation does it? The matter is slowly fermenting, and it will be revealed sooner or later. The most important thing is that this kind of slow spread will cause Sakura to die slowly and suffer more pain, which is undoubtedly better for Naruto. Thinking of this, Naruto said straightforwardly, "Okay, then I will not get involved, and go back to training." After waving his hand, he left Hokage's office first. Kakashi and Kai followed him out of the Hokage office. Seeing this, Naruto asked suspiciously, "Kakashi, don't you abandon every companion? Why didn't you stay inside and discuss with the third generation?" Kakashi shook his head slightly. "The nature of this matter is different, and Sakura needs to be taught a lesson. I believe that Hokage-sama is more measured than me." Naruto raised his eyebrows slightly, but didn't speak. Proportion. Kakashi is too high to see the third generation. If the third generation is too weak, Naruto doesn't mind going directly to the palace. In fact, if it is not a last resort, he does not know how to use a servant contract, so why enforce it if he can communicate well? But as long as he is willing to use it, the third generation cannot resist his order. Returning to the practice field, Naruto, Kakashi and Kai could hear the sound of battle before they got close. Ping ping pong pong. Naruto took a closer look. Tiantian was no longer simply throwing shurikens, but took out scrolls and kept throwing out all kinds of ninja tools, throwing knives, kunai, darts, shurikens, and Naruto has never seen it before, ninja. Not only that, Tiantian's attack targets were not Neji and Sasuke, but Lee and Squirrel, who were swimming around the small lake. It is very difficult for one person to attack 4 people at the same time, but also to predict according to the action, and to miss the vital parts. It's pretty good. Naruto nodded in satisfaction. This kind of extraordinary training every day not only increases the difficulty for herself, but also increases the difficulty for everyone in the lake. However, the people in the lake greatly exceeded Naruto's expectations. Naruto thought that under Tiantian's offensive, Neji and Sasuke would have no time to take care of treading water, and thus become drowned chickens. But the actual situation is completely different. I saw that Sasuke and Neji were not only proficient in treading water and resisting Tiantian shuriken, they could even use physical skills to fight hand to hand. Besides, Xiaoli and Squirrel were not idle either. Different from the simple swimming just now, both of them had ropes on their bodies, and a huge iron block was tied behind the ropes. Not to mention that the iron block is used for weight training, but the rope alone is also very particular. If it is carried directly, it is just a simple load, and it is pulled by a rope, and the iron block will fall more seriously. If you want to move the iron block, you have to swim harder. For circular swimming, if you are swimming at high speed with special effort, it is difficult to control the direction of the iron block when turning. In order to drive the iron block perfectly, one needs to have precise control over the force. What a group of desperate guys. Naruto sighed involuntarily. The lake he designed is already quite difficult to train, and these people can find ways to increase the difficulty of training. Maybe this is youth, enough hard work, enough blood. Different from Sakura's kind of flinching who would only be at ease and die, this is the real ninja. Kakashi, do you see, this is youth. Kai couldn't help clenching his fists and shouting, his expression extremely excited. Kakashi nodded slightly, eyes full of relief. He had expected that Naruto might be powerful, and if he disdained to communicate with his peers, he might go astray. But the scene in front of him is enough to prove that Naruto is very harmonious with these teenagers and has even become the leader. This is a good thing, and it also dispelled his worries about Naruto. Everyone has found a way to train, and I won't stay here anymore. I look forward to the official game in a month's time. I hope these little guys can bring me unexpected surprises. After Kakashi finished speaking, he turned to leave. Mr. Kai, with you here to assist in training, I won't get involved. Naruto said something to Kai, turned around and caught up with Kakashi. He has done everything he can do, and there is no need to waste time here. Seeing Naruto catching up, Kakashi wondered, why are you following me? Go, I'll take you to meet someone. Naruto showed a mysterious smile and led the way first. Kakashi didn't understand, but followed. Not long after, the two appeared in front of a hot spring house. Kakashi asked suspiciously, what are you doing here? You'll find out later. Going around the main entrance, Naruto went straight to the back of the hot spring house. Sure enough, there was a person lying on the wooden wall, peeking in through the gap, with a rippling smile on his face from time to time, looking extremely wretched. Sir Jiraiya. Seeing this person, Kakashi trembled. Before he could say more, Jiraiya, who was lying on the wall, hurriedly made a silent gesture. But after all, it was still a step too late. Hearing Kakashi's shout, the girls in the women's bath screamed again and again, shouting that there are perverts. Let's go, let's talk about it in another place. In order to avoid yesterday's tragedy, Naruto hurriedly took the lead in fleeing. After running around, the three came to a barbecue restaurant. When the barbecue was on the table, Kakashi still couldn't keep calm, and said in a trembling voice, Master Jiraiya, when did you come back? Why haven't you received any news? Master Hokage always misses you. I don't want to see that old man. In order to avoid commotion, I came back secretly this time to collect some materials. Jiraiya also drank a small wine. Material. Kakashi was puzzled. Jiraiya also explained. I'm going to publish a new book, and I'm looking for inspiration. I just got inspired, but you interrupted me. What a bad guy. Ah, it's my fault. Kakashi, as a loyal fan of Kissing Heaven, has read this book hundreds of times, thinking about when a new book will be released every day, but he doesn't want him to become a blocker of the new book, which is true and shouldn't be. Seeing Kakashi's sincere apology, Jiraiya turned his head to look at Naruto, frowned and said, boy, this matter is also your fault. If you hadn't brought Kakashi here, my plan wouldn't have been disrupted. Tell me, you brought him to see me, what's the matter? Although he doesn't have much contact with him, he also knows that Naruto is a typical person who doesn't go to the Three Treasures Hall for nothing, and there must be some conspiracy behind his sudden visit. Naruto smiled. I'm not idle, I just want to help you speed up the collection of materials. In fact, I have a good plan. What plan? Tell me. Jiraiya also suddenly became interested. Naruto laughed and said, Kakashi has Sharingan, and his insight is so strong for ordinary people. With his eyesight and investigative ability, he will definitely be able to find more top-notch girls who are more valuable to spy on. This will greatly shorten the investigation in the early stage of spying. Work. Wonderful. Jiraiya couldn't help applauding. In the past, in order to find material, he peeped at one hot spring house after another, but it was easy to miss many good girls this way. Not only that, every time he went to see a group of old ladies, he felt that his eyes were going to be blind, which ruined his creative mood. If Kakashi would do these jobs for him, he would feel very empowered just thinking about it. He turned his head to look at Kakashi. That look was closer than seeing his relatives. Picking up the wine glass, he said with a smile, Kakashi, I sincerely invite you to join the work of the new book. The salary is favorable, please agree. Your Majesty's Jiraiya is very polite. You need it, I will naturally spare no effort. Kakashi didn't dare to neglect, and raised his glass again and again. It doesn't matter if you can be commanded by Jiraiya-sama, one of the Sannin, even if you become a tool man. If you have to say it, he is Jiraiya's disciple and a loyal fan of Kissing Heaven. It is a great honor to be able to participate in the new book. The meat is roasted. If there is consensus, let's discuss it while eating. It won't taste good when it gets cold. Naruto moved his chopsticks first, picking up a piece of beef. The snowflake texture of the beef is very beautiful, and the layers are scattered. After taking a bite, it easily turns into juice without chewing. It is simply melt in the mouth. Although Naruto has never eaten Kobe beef in his previous life, this barbecue is definitely the best experience Naruto has ever tasted. He could even feel the unrestrained freedom of the cow during his lifetime. The only thing that makes Naruto feel uncomfortable is the special dipping sauce, which is too spicy and impolite. Naruto hurriedly scooped up the store's special dessert, tofu panna cotta. It looked very Q-bomb, but when he took a bite, he realized that he was too weak to chew at all. Before he could use his teeth hard, the panna cotta had already collapsed. Fortunately, the sense of milk fragrance has relieved the spicy taste. Instead of trying special dipping sauces, Naruto chose the most common freshly ground wasabi mixed with soy sauce. After one bite, the fragrance, freshness and sweetness exploded in the mouth, and the taste was quite interesting. Wasabi is responsible for neutralizing the greasy, with lettuce, one bite after another, can't stop at all. Jiraiya and Kakashi also had a good time drinking and chatting very harmoniously. Before I knew it, an hour passed quietly. The system notification sounded again in Naruto's mind. It is detected that the host stays in the barbecue restaurant for 1 hour, and the check-in is successful, and the fire escape how long fire technique will be rewarded. Accompanied by the notification sound, Naruto only felt a burst of heat in his body, and a new ninjutsu was imprinted in his mind again. When he finished receiving the memory, he couldn't help but smile. Fire escape. Dragon fire art. The caster uses chakra to extract high heat flames and condense them into a giant dragon form to rush towards the enemy. The power is astonishing. You can also spray several fire dragons at once to make the spread wider. Skilled people only need to form the yin seal to activate it. Produced by the system, the proficiency is directly full. In other words, Naruto can release the crazy and cool fire dragon directly by using the yin seal, which is more convenient than the water dragon bullet technique, which needs to form a lot of seals. Both are also B-level ninjutsu, which are amazingly powerful, and are sufficient for ordinary situations. It's just that Naruto has other ideas after getting the water dragon and the fire dragon successively. If there is an opportunity in the future, I must sign up for Earth Dragon, Thunder Dragon, and Wind Dragon, and make 5 dragons into one. Thinking of that extremely exciting scene, Naruto's heart felt refreshed. After eating and paying the bill, Jiraiya is the oldest and has the highest seniority. Next, Naruto and Kakashi will assist Jiraiya in collecting materials. Naturally, Jiraiya will pay the bill. Another day for nothing. Leaving the rotisserie, Kakashi left first to collect information on the best girl, while Naruto followed Jiraiya, temporarily doing the original spying. Walking in front of a hot spring house, before Naruto walked in, Zillai stopped him and said, "Okay, you go back first." "Huh, go back." Naruto was stunned for a moment. Welfare is right in front of us, how can he go back? Is it possible that I also want to enjoy the experience alone? Worthy, you are still too young to do many things. For example, you were not allowed to drink alcohol at the barbecue restaurant just now, and you are not allowed to have it with women now. Zillai also earnestly taught, your parents are not here, and I, an elder, must also tell you this. Naruto said helplessly, I don't drink alcohol simply because I don't like it. How can I drink happy water? Besides, in my memory, my mother also said 11 principles. If I follow the rules, it's not even your turn to lecture me. Your mother, what did Kushina say? Zillai also raised his eyebrows. Naruto spread his hands and said, my mother said, beware of this perverted old man Jiraiya. Quote. Jiraiya was also speechless for a while, but after thinking about it carefully, it was really Kushina's character. Naruto continued. So, since I met you, I have already broken the rules, so you should stop nagging. After entering, collect your materials, I will see my beauties, and we will not delay each other. By the way, there is one more thing you must be clear about. What's the matter? Zillai also asked. Naruto explained. I see beautiful women, which are different from your wretched and nasty ones. Everything I do is to seize the future. Seize the future. Zillai didn't understand. Naruto nodded and said, I found that being seduced by women is not only a problem of lack of concentration, but also a result of watching too little and causing them to be interested and have illusions. So, as long as I watch more now, then wait in the future, no matter what kind of beauty it is, it will only be a pink skull. Now, can you understand my good intentions? Okay then. Zillai didn't insist anymore. There was no way, what Naruto said really made sense. Convincing Jiraiya, Naruto felt a burst of pride, even if he was considered a fool erecting a torii, so what? Anyway, Peeping has become a legitimate reason. Still the same sentence, what kind of bad thoughts can a child have? Everything is just for learning. Not long after, the two sneaked behind the women's bath in the hot spring house and officially started to act. July also took a notebook to record and collect materials while observing, and it seemed that he was calm and composed only for veterans. Unlike the old pervert like Jiraiya, Naruto knows that he lacks concentration and experience, so he can't resist the temptation, so what he can do is to study twice and study again, so that he can catch up with the progress and even lead the way until take off completely. For this reason, Naruto didn't dare to slack off, all he could do was stare at him with wide eyes and meticulous attention. Even if his eyes were bleeding and his nose was bleeding, he would not take his eyes off the details, unwilling to miss the slightest detail. After all, details determine success or failure, and even a moment can grasp the future. Ended. Ji-Lai also shouted in a deep voice. Yeah, it's over. Naruto also looked serious. Although the hot spring house is open 24 hours, how many good girls come to the hot spring house to take a bath in the middle of the night after the meeting? The second half of the night is just a man's paradise. After leaving the hot spring house, Naruto and Jiraiya waved goodbye and agreed to fight again tomorrow. The moon and stars were sparse, and walking through the dark alley again, Naruto recalled everything he saw during the day, and his blood was still boiling. Not only learned a lot of knowledge, but also signed Naruto's classic ninjutsu, seduction jutsu, and harem jutsu in the hot spring house. Just signed this kind of ninjutsu. As a straight man of steel, Naruto decisively chose to hide this ninjutsu. Suddenly, he heard a scream coming from the alley. Little handsome boy, come and play. Kindness. Naruto was startled for a moment, restrained his mind, rushed towards the female voice, and smiled disdainfully. I'm not going to ride you crazy this time. He swooped over and threw a coin skillfully. The familiar singing voice sounded immediately. Father's father is called grandpa, and father's mother is called grandma. Riding a pony, Naruto was thinking of all the beauties in the daytime, how wonderful it would be if they were really galloping on horses. After riding for a long time, Naruto was attracted by a seductive aroma and rushed over involuntarily. It was a 24-hour small restaurant. Grumble. After fighting for a day, Naruto was so stimulated that he forgot his hunger, and this alluring aroma aroused Naruto's appetite again. But Naruto didn't eat it on the spot, but bought a lot of portions and went to the training ground. Bang bang bang. Before he got closer, Naruto heard the sound of fierce fighting. Naruto came to pick up the Squirtle and bought a lot of food just in case, but he didn't expect that these people really worked hard and were still training hard. Sasuke and Squirtle trained all day, and Ningxi Tiantian Shaoli probably has been 2 days. Wouldn't such excessive training damage the body's functions? Okay, stop practicing, hurry up and eat, and go back to sleep after eating. Naruto scolded. Smelling the aroma of the food, everyone stopped and rushed over to eat. Adrenal hormones are excessively secreted during training, and everyone is in the midst of excitement without feeling tired. Once they stop, there will only be one consequence. Looking at the people who were eating and falling asleep, Naruto was speechless, and split up with Kai to send everyone back to their respective homes. When sending Ninki home, Naruto couldn't help thinking about it. Hyuga's house is a good place, what rewards will you give for signing in here? Putting Neji on the bed, Naruto sat on the chair and began to wait patiently. An hour flew by, and the familiar system prompt sounded in his mind. It is detected that the host stays in the Hyuga family for an hour, and the check-in is successful, and the reward will be rewarded with secondary colored contact lenses and white eyes. Rolling eyes. Naruto was slightly taken aback, only to see that there was an extra pair of colored contact lenses in the system backpack. How can you give such a rubbish thing? Even if you give it a soft fist, it's better than this. Naruto couldn't help complaining in his heart. Don't look at Bayan, who is very strong in the early stage, but in the middle stage, he gradually pulls his hips. Apart from being able to have strong insight and perspective ability, he is not as good as Sharingan in other aspects. Naruto didn't need to see through and peep through Jiraiya. In short, it was useless to Naruto. Reminder: the host should not underestimate Bayan, see the introduction of Bayan for details. Hearing the system prompt, Naruto looked disdainful, but still opened the introduction panel. White eyes. One of the 3 major pupil techniques, people of the Hyuga clan need continuous practice to open their eyes, but if they have a strong Otsutsuki bloodline, they can open their eyes without practicing. White-eyed state. The host is the reincarnation of Asura, and has opened his eyes. The current capabilities are as follows. Telescope. Use chakra to multiply the ability of the eyes, and the eyes can see things within a radius of 1 kilometer. Through practicing hard to develop white-eyed ability can improve telephoto distance. See-through eyes. See through objects. Use the white eyes to see the meridians, acupoints, bones and the flow of chakra of the target. Among them, Otsutsuki Kagaya can even tell whose chakra it is with his white eyes. For example, when Kagaya looked at Naruto and Sasuke with white eyes, he could recognize the chakra reincarnation of Asura and Indra. Inside eye. It has a 360 degrees viewing angle, but the white eye has a blind angle of vision that spreads from the spine to the rear by 1 degree, limited to the Hyuga branch, and can thoroughly observe the changes in the surrounding environment. That's it. What's there to see? You don't need to look at me. After reading the introduction, Naruto, who had a little expectation for the system, was completely discouraged. However, with sharp eyes, he found a small line of words under the introduction panel, extended introduction. In order to completely beat the face system, Naruto opened the extended introduction. Extended introduction. In addition to basic telescopic vision, clairvoyance vision, insight vision, and enhancing one's own abilities, different people will have different specific abilities when using white eyes. Ability 1. White eyes coercion. Only Kagaya Otsutsuki can do this, exuding a huge pressure through the white eyes, directly shocking the surrounding people into a state of dizziness, and even causing substantial damage to objects. Ability 2. Blur. The pupil technique unique to Otsutsuki's white eyes. This is an advanced space-time ninjutsu. The essence of its ability is to transfer itself or other objects around it from the real space to the different space, similar to Kamui. Ability 3. White eyes illusion. Kagaya used white eyes to control Hamura's thoughts. Ability 4. Seeing through the fate of others. Only the big tube peach pose can do this. Momoshiki sees Boruto's future world clearly through his blank eyes. Ability 5. See through other people's thoughts. When Bai Yan's perspective ability reaches a certain level, he can see other people's thoughts clearly. Extended introduction. By combining the chakra of the Otsutsuki clan with the white eyes of the Hyuga clan or by fusing many white eyes of the Otsutsuki clan, it can evolve into Tenseiken. Reincarnating eyes are divided into 3 colors: lavender, yellow, and blue. It is the final form of white eyes, and its status is the same as the reincarnation eyes of the sages of the 6 paths. Reincarnation Eye is the ultimate end of the evolution of the Uchiha clan's Sharingan, and Tensei Eye is the ultimate end of the Hyuga clan's White Eyes evolution. Ability 1. Turn on Tenseiyan Chakra Mode. It can emit a large amount of seeking jade, and can use the yin and yang escape technique that creates all things. Ability 2. Control gravity and repulsion. Can control the trajectory of the planet. Ability 3. Has the ability to manipulate space. It can create a space channel between 2 stars, similar to the space portal of Sasuke's reincarnation eye. Ability 4. Absorb chakra. By controlling Tenseiyan chakra, you can absorb the enemy's chakra from a long distance. Ability 5. Give the puppet vitality. Disadvantage: when the Tenseiken that controls the puppet disappears, the puppet will lose power immediately. Ability 6. Summon the stone statue of Otsutsuki Hamura. The stone statue can be repaired automatically under the control of Tenseiken, and its strength is strong enough to compete with the tailed beast. Ah, oh, oh, oh. Seeing the extended introduction, Naruto was completely dumbfounded. Is this supercilious? This is completely different from the white eyes in his impression, okay. In his impression, Baian is a rubbish pupil technique, and it is not worthy of being one of the 3 pupil techniques. But according to the system, what Sharingan can do, Baian can do. Not only that, Baian's final form, Tenseiyan, is the ultimate eye not inferior to the reincarnation eye. How should I put it? Baian is really invincible. After being stunned for a while, Naruto suddenly burst out laughing. Fortunately, there was a systematic reminder, otherwise Naruto would really have missed this sky-defying pupil technique. However, when the system introduced abilities, there were many unfamiliar names, which made Naruto worried. He has only read Shippuden, and as for Bo-Ren Juan, he knows that Bo-Ren biography is incombustible. He has heard that there are many Otsutsuki clans appearing, but he has never really understood it. It was only in the extended introduction that he faced and understood the real horror of the Otsutsuki clan. Not to mention divine power, just saying that one can see through the fate of others is outrageous. Fate is unpredictable. In Naruto's cognition, fate is no less terrifying than creation. In short, Otsutsuki, who sees through fate, is no different from the current Naruto, who just read the script directly. Previously, what reassured Naruto the most was not only the system, but also knowing the plot, which would allow him to avoid many risks and give him a feeling that everything was under control. But Datomu can also do it, even if it is just an example, it is very likely that he will not be able to play it. This is a hidden danger. Naruto sighed deeply. The only thing that makes him feel lucky is that those big tubes appeared in Bo-Renzuan, and they will not be encountered for many years. As long as they strive to be invincible these years, it seems that they don't need to be afraid of these potential enemies. Not only that, but when the system authority is sufficient, he can transfer to other worlds for refuge. Although other worlds may not be safe. Silent night, the next morning. After sending the squirrel to the training ground, Naruto met Jiraiya and Kakashi at the noodle shop. Boy, why are you here again? Wasn't it enough to look at it yesterday? Look at your dark circles, you must know how to control yourself, don't indulge yourself too much, or you will have no fertility in the future, and you should regret it to death. Zillai also frowned. Naruto lay down on the dining table, with a sad face and said, "It's not what you think, I just thought about some important things, and I couldn't sleep." He was a little overwhelmed with gains and losses, as long as he thought of Datomu, even if it would appear in a long time in the future, he couldn't sleep. Oh, let's see, what's the matter? Zillai also became interested. Naruto spoke for a long time, and finally choked out a sentence. "I think I am too weak, not strong enough." Puff. Kakashi just ate the noodles in his mouth, and immediately sprayed them out. He looked at Naruto with extremely complicated eyes. This was the first time in his life that he wanted to curse so much. Not strong enough. This is the latest joke, the Versailles Literary Band. Jiraiya didn't know Naruto's true strength. Seeing Kakashi spraying his face, he thought Kakashi felt guilty, so he preached earnestly, "Kakashi, as a teacher, you have to teach Naruto well, you see Naruto will reflect deeply, why don't you have a snack? Helping me with work is important, but you can't let Naruto practice. I heard that the official game will be a month away, so how about you help me with work in the morning and teach in the afternoon Naruto?" Master Jiraiya, you think too highly of me, to be honest, I can't even beat Naruto. Kakashi was embarrassed. Jiraiya was not surprised, and waved his hand and said, "You mean Naruto's original meatball attack, right? Indeed, this move has a lot of control, but it needs to be taken by surprise, but the enemy is not a deadly target, as long as you dodge and don't get caught. The impact is still very easy to crack. As a replica ninja Kakashi, you have mastered so many ninjutsu, you can teach Naruto better, don't underestimate yourself." What? Meat bomb impact? Kakashi turned his head to look at Naruto, and said in astonishment, "You can be praised by Master Jiraiya for your strong control, what kind of ninjutsu did you come up with?" "It's just a common control, I've always been able to do it," Naruto said helplessly. Thinking about it carefully, Kakashi happened to miss every time he used the meatball impact. Jiraiya also heard the clue, and couldn't help frowning. "Kakashi, what do you mean? Could it be that Naruto didn't beat you with a meat bomb, so how could he beat you?" Kakashi explained, "Have you forgotten that Naruto has 9 tails in his body? Facing that terrifying power, I am no match at all." 9 tails. Jiraiya pondered for a moment, thinking, over the years, the chakra of the Kyuubi and Naruto's chakra have begun to merge with each other, but, Naruto, you can't rely on the power of the Kyuubi, it's not easy to control, it's easy to go berserk. How about this, let me teach you the spiral pill, and when you can cast the spiral pill, you can further control the chakra, and also reduce the chance of going berserk due to excessive use of the 9-tailed chakra. Kakashi nodded and said in agreement, "Wenjin-wan. That is the Muji Jutsu studied by the teacher. It is extremely powerful. Naruto, if you can learn it, your strength will definitely be improved to a higher level." With his elbow resting on the table and his chin resting on his left hand, Naruto slowly raised his right hand and said with a dejected expression, "You mean that?" As he said that, the chakras in the palm of his right hand gathered and quickly spun to form a small vortex. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a bright blue spiral pill. Spiral pills. Jiraiya and Kakashi exclaimed at the same time. Naruto opened his right hand slightly, untied the spiral airflow, lay down on the dining table again, and sighed. It's just a boring little trick, there's nothing to be surprised about. There was no way, thinking that Datongmu could see through fate, and even had yin-yang escape technique, he felt that Helix Wang was too rubbish. Jiraiya and Kakashi didn't think so, they just thought Naruto was filling the cup. Jiraiya also said earnestly, Naruto, I admit that your talent is very strong, but you can't pretend like this. You must guard against arrogance and impetuosity, and study with an open mind in order to further grow. Being proud and complacent will only make people regress. Quote. Naruto said helplessly. Where do you think I am proud? I really feel that I am weak and want to improve my strength quickly, but unfortunately you are useless and can't teach me anything. Useless. Zillai also immediately became annoyed. Boy, don't think that you can underestimate me by defeating me with the impact of meat bullets. If I try my best, your strength is not enough. Before Naruto opened his mouth, Kakashi reminded in a low voice, Master Jiraiya, it seems that you really can't beat him. Not to mention you, Hokage-sama can't beat Naruto either, so we can only use ghouls to seal them all together. Quote. How is this possible? Zillai also frowned. Kakashi explained. Just the day before yesterday, Naruto had just mastered the 8 gates and could open the 8 gates. According to my observation, with the support of the 9 tails, Naruto could even open the 8 gates without injury for a short time. If not, other genin are preparing for the exam, how can I allow Naruto to wander around? 8-door Dunjia. Hearing Kakashi's words, Jiraiya was also stunned for a moment. He is well aware of the 8 gates Dunjia, which is the ultimate secret of body art, the forbidden technique in the forbidden technique. Opening the 8 gates will gain super combat power, but after opening the 8 gates, you will die. It is an absolute sacrificial technique. Naruto can open 8 doors without being killed or even injured, so he really can't beat him. After recovering, Zillai also said very speechlessly, Naruto, you kid is already so against the sky, how can you still complain about your weak strength, do you know? You will be struck by lightning if you pretend to be aggressive. Naruto looked at Jiraiya, hesitated to speak, and finally turned into a sigh. He has already said several times that he is not pretending to be coercive, and he is too lazy to explain now. I won't be collecting materials with you today. I still have something to do, so I'm leaving first. With that said, Naruto got up and left the noodle shop. Jiraiya and Kakashi made it clear that there is no way to help him improve, he might as well keep his feet on the ground and sign in elsewhere. Walking aimlessly on the street, suddenly, a magnetic voice stopped him. Naruto-kun, why are you listless? Turning his head to look, Naruto's eyes suddenly burst into joy. This is Kusaka Tenma disguised by Orochimaru. It's a little troublesome, but it's just right to meet you. Let's go to your place and chat for a while. Compared with Jiraiya and Kakashi, Naruto is looking forward to the decision of Orochimaru. It is good. Seeing that Naruto was in a hurry, Orochimaru put aside other matters and hurried back to the hotel with Naruto. As for Anbu, they were all removed as early as when Naruto took over the 3 generations as followers. Not long after, the two returned to the hotel. Sitting on the chair, Orochimaru said with great interest, with 3 generations of protection, what trouble will Naruto-kun encounter? Naruto sighed. It's the same question as last time, I'm worried about the unknown powerful enemy. Hearing this, Orochimaru looked solemn. Why did Naruto-kun suddenly think of this? What clue did you find? Yes, Naruto took out the white eye contact lenses from the system, put them on, and opened the white eyes. White eyes. Naruto-kun is really supernatural. I haven't seen him for a few days, and then I got one of the 3 pupil techniques. Orochimaru was slightly surprised, but according to my investigation, although Baian is strong, it must be not as good as Sharingan, so what's the problem? Naruto pondered. I also just got the white eyes, and I'm in the research stage. But I found that the white eyes are actually no less than the Sharingan. You know, the white eyes are passed down by the Otsutsuki clan. Do you think the white eyes of the Otsutsuki will be weak? What does that mean? Orochimaru frowned. Naruto explained. Now my white eyes can clearly see the flow of meridians and chakra, which can be developed to produce stronger abilities. For example, I can see through other people's thoughts, and even see through other people's fate. Fate, if that's the case, it's too scary, but everything is deduction now, so there's no need to be so urgent, right? Orochimaru thought. Naruto snorted coldly, squinted his eyes slightly and said, I'm not nervous, so why did your heart beat faster for a moment? By analyzing your heartbeat frequency, you can actually tell whether you are lying. As long as you practice it, you can definitely succeed in seeing through other people's thoughts. Yes. Now, do you still think it is false to see through fate? Orochimaru fell silent for a moment. Naruto's words were well-founded, and he really couldn't refute them. Naruto took off the white eye contact lenses, put on the writing contact lenses, and continued, not only that, my writing Sharingan has reached the kaleidoscope writing Sharingan, and I found that frequent use of the kaleidoscope will lead to blindness. The only solution is to replace someone else's kaleidoscope Sharingan and thus evolve into an eternal kaleidoscope. Since Sharingan can be fused, can white eyes also be fused and evolved? There is no way. Naruto can't tell the truth directly. He can't say that there is a system, so he can only follow the temptation and give examples to let Orochimaru gradually realize the power of Baian. Seeing Orochimaru's gloomy face and frowning, Naruto knew he had succeeded. The room fell into deathly silence. After a long time, Orochimaru breathed out a turbid breath, and pondered, in this way, Baian really cannot be ignored. If Otsutsuki is still alive, he may have been able to do whatever he wants. If you really want to fight this kind of enemy, you have already done it before you start. If you are seen through, then failure is inevitable. He couldn't help but think of the scene when he was seen through by Itachi. The feeling of being seen through was extremely uncomfortable, but there was nothing he could do about it. This is my trouble, and I have to find a way to discuss it with you, otherwise I can only wait to die. Naruto sighed. Orochimaru nodded slightly, thinking, right now, I have two options. Kindness. Hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but startled. Sure enough, Orochimaru was more reliable than Jiraiya, and he thought of a solution so quickly. He urged, tell me and listen. Orochimaru stretched out a finger and said, first, you already have the kaleidoscope Sharingan, you can go to Itachi to collect the Sharingan and merge it into an eternal kaleidoscope. I cooperate with the research and development, and maybe I can raise the Sharingan to the extreme, to deal with Dotongmu's supercilious eyes. Stretching out a finger again, he continued, second, you already have white eyes, you can go to the Hyuga clan to collect more white eyes. If the fusion is successful, you may be able to share the same level with the Otsutsuki clan's pupil technique, and you have with 9 tails and other abilities, he can even defeat the Otsutsuki clan. After listening to Orochimaru's thoughts, Naruto couldn't help being enlightened. I have to say that Orochimaru's method is very reliable, practical and easy to implement. Discussing with Dashawan, a think tank, is indeed a worthwhile trip. It's really yours, Orochimaru. Naruto gave a thumbs up. Orochimaru waved his hands again and again. If it weren't for Naruto-kun's sufficient conditions, I would have racked my brains and couldn't deal with it. By the way, what is the ability of your kaleidoscope Sharingan? He remembered that kaleidoscope had unique abilities, such as Itachi's Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu, each of which was extremely terrifying. Naruto didn't hide it, and said bluntly, my kaleidoscope only needs one ability, and that is absolute reproduction. Absolute replica. Orochimaru frowned slightly, not quite recognizing this ability. Sharingan can reproduce ninjutsu and phantasmagoria, and Kakashi can reproduce thousands of kinds with only 3 gobamas. As a more advanced kaleidoscope, it is still only capable of replicating, which is too weak. Naruto explained. My pupils can respectively engrave a kind of ability, including blood succession limit and blood succession elimination. What? Hearing this, Orochimaru stood up abruptly, unable to keep his composure any longer. What Naruto-kun means is that as long as you are willing, it is also feasible to reproduce Itachi's Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi for the left and right eyes. Of course, Naruto nodded slightly. It's just that Itachi's 2 abilities are too common. I never thought of replicating them. After all, my Sharingan can only be replicated once, and I can only use them for life and cannot be replaced. The great god was speechless for a moment. Naruto was really good at acting, but what Naruto said was right. he was very strong against ordinary people, but he was not enough to deal with the Otsutsuki clan. Wait, deal with the Otsutsuki clan. Orochimaru's eyes could not help but show a bright light. Naruto-kun, I suddenly thought of a good way to deal with the Otsutsuki clan. It is not only easy but also absolutely feasible. Oh, tell me about it. Naruto also became interested. Orochimaru smiled darkly. Naruto-kun, what if you use the kaleidoscope Sharingan to reproduce Otsutsuki's strongest ability? Hearing this, Naruto called out, good guy. That means no matter how powerful the enemy is, he can split 50. When watching Naruto anime, many people ridiculed that Kakashi was a fooling Hatake, just because of his reenacted eyes, which left Noda's reputation in the ninja world. Today, Naruto's absolute replica is the same as Kakashi's replica, and he even surpasses Kakashi. It is not an exaggeration to say that the whirlpool is half 50. Oshimaru, as expected of you, you actually came up with such a good idea. Naruto's previous worries were swept away in an instant. As long as you rely on this pair of replica eyes to copy the strongest enemy that you can't deal with, then no matter how strong the enemy is, it will be the same as him. Coupled with his own superpowers such as the 8-door Dunjia, it seems to be a breeze to win. However, this method can only be used once, unless it is a last resort. Naruto still has to keep the double eye, and he is not sure whether the enemy that appears as the strongest. But there is no doubt that the absolute replica is a super life-saving ability. Ever since there were more and more rewards for signing in, he looked down on Sharingan more and more. Now, he finally started to pay attention to Sharingan. Preciously put away the sharing lenses, Naruto and Oshimaru chatted for a while, then left leisurely, continued to follow Jiraiya to grasp the future, study hard and collect materials, until a month later. After a month of study, Naruto has made great progress. Let's talk about appearance first. His hair is already long in the shawl, and with gold-rimmed glasses, he looks like a gentle scum. Let's talk about the inside. He keeps studying hard and actively collects materials. He keeps in mind most of the beautiful girls in Konoha. Basically, as long as he sees a person, he can know the measurements of the other person, and even whether there is a birthmark on the buttocks and what kind of birthmark they have. He was quite clear, and even won a special reward from the system for this. The art of Royal Maid. Passive ability, increases the favorability of women and greatly reduces their vigilance. The seemingly weak ability is actually ridiculously strong. Masters are absolute, and a slight loss can be 1,000 miles away. Usually, one move can determine the outcome. Not to mention ordinary people, if they confront Kagaya Otsutsuki and lower their guard, they might have a chance of being stabbed in the back. In the worst case, you can also seize the initiative. The ability is called Imperial Female Art, but in fact it should be called Female Killer. Of course, Naruto is quite friendly if it is not an enemy. In his bones, he has no idea of hitting a woman. In addition, his white eyes have also made great progress. Although Sharingan can be used with the strongest, he still doesn't know when it will be able to be used. Right now, he has not given up on training his eyes. Whenever he sees that the women's bath is uncontrollable, he will turn his back on Jiraiya, look at him and open his eyes, and when he sees a group of pink skeletons, his mood will calm down again. After repeating this for a month, his ability to see through the eyes is not to say that it is perfect, but it can be regarded as a small achievement. It is completely easy to see within a radius of 2 kilometers. However, Naruto's growth is still a little slow. Compared with him, the people in the practice field are called real growth. Practicing hard every day, whether it is chakra control, physical strength, or dodging hidden weapons, has produced a qualitative leap. Among them, the most gratifying thing for Naruto is that Sasuke has overcome half of the curse seals. Casting half of the curse seals will have no effect at all in a short time, and there is no problem in using them in battle. There is also the change of the Jenny turtle. After receiving high-intensity training, his experience value has risen rapidly. In just 1 month, he has broken through to level 15, and he is still one step away from reaching level 16, starting his first evolution. Naruto is also looking forward to this. Ningxi and Shaoli Tian did not talk about their respective strength growth, but their moods were more positive, especially Ningxi, who had no bird in a cage, was the most eye-catching. The above changes were all witnessed by Naruto himself. However, in order to make the battle more suspenseful, Naruto did not inquire about how far they have reached. Look cool. But this month has not been smooth sailing, Naruto still has a bad thing. The third generation personally operated the knife, but the speed of the control of the spread was too slow. For a full month, the matter did not detonate, resulting in Sakura not being completely socially dead. Of course, Naruto has no time to take care of Sakura alone. Today is the day of the official match. On the field, he will make Sakura look good. Okay, don't look left and right, this competition, you are the protagonists. Moonlight Gale said lightly. At this moment, Naruto and others have arrived at the venue for the official competition. In the original book, Moonlight Hayate was killed, but this time without Sand Ninja Village's conspiracy, Moonlight Hayate was saved from death and became the referee of the official game. To be honest, Naruto saved Moonlight Hayate. After all, he was the trigger to break the development route of the original book. The spectator seats on the huge wall have already been crowded with people. On the main stage this time, many strong men came, but Feng Ying was the only one who could not be seen. When Naruto and Orochimaru negotiated before, Kazekage had already been killed. Now that the Konoha destruction plan is not launched, there is no need for Orochimaru to pretend to be Kazekage. Kazekage couldn't wait for a long time, and the voices in the auditorium became louder and louder. The third generation knew that he couldn't wait any longer, so he got up and said, "Dear guests, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all of you who came to Konoha to watch the Chunin selection assessment. Next, let the candidates who have passed the preliminary selection go to the official selection competition. Please enjoy watching. I would like to say a few words before the game." Moonlight Gale coughed and continued. Although the venue is changed, it is the same as in the preliminaries. The rules are that there are no rules. The winner will not be decided until one party dies or admits defeat. However, if I think the winner has been decided, the game will be suspended. No resistance is allowed, understand? Seeing no rebuttal from the crowd, Moonlight Hayate waved his hand and said, "Then the first round will be Uchiha Sasuke and Hyuga Neji, these two will stay, and the rest will go back to the lounge." Wait, can we go to the spectator stands to watch the game? It's also to get familiar with the opponents we may encounter next. Naruto asked. Moonlight Gale nodded and said, "Okay, be careful not to cause commotion. If it's your turn and you haven't shown up yet, it's considered a defeat without a fight." No problem. Naruto made an "okay" gesture, jumped up in the air to release chakra, stepped on the wall and jumped onto the auditorium. All the contestants present were given scrolls by Naruto, and it was impossible for Naruto to look too embarrassed to go up by himself, so they all jumped up and rushed to the wall. Furthermore, it also shows the strength of chakra control by the way. The operation of this wave of people climbing over the 3-story high fence immediately won applause from the audience, and the atmosphere of the scene was also a little high-pitched. After Naruto and the others found their seats, the following competition officially began. Both sides are talented teenagers. This game is quite interesting. Even Naruto can't guess who will win and who will lose, he can only see the outcome in actual combat. "Hinata, there are seats here." Naruto waved enthusiastically. "Good." Hinata blushed slightly, but still sat beside Naruto. Looking at the two on the field, Naruto said with great interest, "This is a good show." "Brother Ningji." Hinata clenched her fists tightly, with a complicated expression on her face. Sitting behind the tooth said, "Hey, Naruto, don't you cheer for Sasuke. This time Sasuke and Neji's duel is really unpredictable. Uchiha's genius on one side, and Hinata's genius on the other, it's really unpredictable." Shikamaru frowned slightly. "Anyway, it's sure to be a good matchup." Naruto got up and grabbed the wall, and shouted down, "Sasuke, Neji, you all have to work hard, show your true skills, it's time to give the answer to the month's hard work." "It is good," Sasuke and Neji in the arena said in unison. The next moment, the two of them looked at each other, and a hot light burst out in their eyes. Sasuke took the lead and said, "Thank you very much for accompanying me to practice for a month, but I won't let go. The winner of this duel must be me." Ningxi's pupils shrank slightly, and he opened his eyes brazenly. "Your eyes are very confident, it doesn't look like you are trying to be brave. This fight is interesting, but you have no chance. I really want to quickly see your panicked eyes when facing reality. Stop talking nonsense, let's start." Sasuke put on a fighting stance, and after throwing out his shuriken, his figure suddenly charged forward. Seeing this, Ya couldn't help but said, "It's over, this guy Ninki knows acupuncture points, how can he fight melee, or attack from the front? Don't yell and yell to affect the game, don't worry, the game will not end so soon." Naruto looked confident. The so-called acupuncture points, as long as you tap the acupuncture points, you can stop the flow and increase of the opponent's chakra according to your own ideas. This is a battle method that can only be achieved with Bai Yan's super insight. After a month of training, Sasuke must have a deep understanding of Neji's attack methods. Although Naruto can't see Sasuke's thoughts, Naruto can be sure that Sasuke cannot give it for nothing. Whoosh! Facing the approaching Sasuke, Neji showed a triumphant smile on the corner of his mouth, and his outstretched right hand was covered with light blue chakras. As long as the acupressure is successful, Sasuke's combat ability will inevitably be greatly reduced. But Sasuke, who was close to Neji, turned into an afterimage in an instant when he reached Neji's attack range, and reappeared. He had already reached the back of Neji, and kicked out, aiming at the back of Neji's head. The kick even produced a piercing sound, and if it was kicked, even a stone would be turned into dust. "It's so fast, Ningxi is careful," exclaimed Tien Tien. Xiao Li frowned tightly. "This is my trick." Unexpectedly, Sasuke only saw it once and learned it. Uchiha is really a terrifying existence. Boom! At this moment, Ningxi jumped up and volleyed with his right leg, narrowly resisting Sasuke's attack. "Small skills, don't waste chakra anymore, let's have a good fight," Ningxi said lightly. There is no dead angle in the 360-degree white eye, but because the bird is imprisoned in the cage, it can only observe 359 degrees, and there will be very small blind angles. But the bird in his cage has been solved by Naruto, and Bai Yan's ability is no longer limited. Compared to a month ago, even he couldn't believe his level of improvement. Sasuke was sure to lose. "It's too early to draw conclusions, so stop talking." Sasuke snorted coldly, and rushed towards Neji again. Neji shook his head helplessly. In his opinion, Sasuke just had no other tricks. Without defending the front at all, Neji took the lead in using soft fists to attack behind him, predicting where Sasuke would appear. After a month of training, he already knew Sasuke's attack habits well. Nobody. Neji punched out, but Sasuke didn't appear where he thought. Through rolling his eyes, he found that Sasuke was just attacking head-on, and didn't do anything tricky. Before he had time to think more, he hurriedly turned around to defend. Boom! What? After punching him, Ningxi couldn't help but let out a scream. "How is it possible? How can you do a soft fist?" Ningxi's right fist trembled slightly, his eyes filled with disbelief. "I saw the light blue chakra emerging from Sasuke's fist, which is the classic form of soft fist. Don't forget, I'm Uchiha." The corner of Sasuke's mouth hooked into a smile, his dark pupils had already turned scarlet, and the double gobs were spinning in them, looking weird and mysterious. HMPH. Even if you know soft fists, it's just a waste of effort. After Ningxi came back to his senses, he couldn't help snorting coldly. The soft fist is just an attack method that releases chakra through the hands. If there is no white eye to cooperate with acupuncture, it will not be able to exert its true power at all. If Sasuke can choose other fighting methods, there is still suspense in this game. There is no difference between Sasuke and Baiga in the field of soft fist that can be selected on the spot. But soon Ningxi no longer felt that way. Bang bang bang. The two sides continuously used soft fists to attack each other. Sasuke's moves did not look like beginners. The most frightening thing was that each of Sasuke's attacks precisely hit Neji's acupuncture points. Whoosh! Ningxi stepped back, puzzled and said, "This is impossible, even if you have Sharingan, it is impossible to see the meridian blood." "Indeed, I can't see it, but I can see yours." Sasuke didn't explain much, and rushed to Neji again. In the auditorium, everyone was puzzled, and Hinata even rolled his eyes, carefully observing Sasuke's attack trajectory, and his little face was full of puzzlement. "Naruto-kun, what is going on?" Diligence can make up for one's weakness. It's a very simple truth. Naruto smiled meaningfully. Having been in contact with Sasuke for so long, Naruto naturally understands Sasuke's thinking mode, and he can see through such a magical duel at a glance. Sasuke was just imitating the use of soft fists, and couldn't penetrate Neji's body at all. It must be Sasuke's continuous observation of Neji who can make such fakes out of real ones, and then click on the acupuncture points on the human body. This method is difficult to achieve in a short period of time, but Sasuke and Neji have been training continuously for a month, and with the powerful insight of Sharingan, it is not difficult to grasp the information of Neji's acupoints. To put it simply, Sasuke's attack method can only be used once in a lifetime, and it is specially designated for Neji. This game is interesting. Naruto laughed. For this duel, Sasuke carefully planned for a month, which made Naruto very satisfied, and Sasuke also grew up. However, Naruto noticed that Neji's eyes had been firm all the time, and it was obvious that Neji had also made a lot of preparations. After all, the two have been training together for a month. If they continue to attack with tricks, it will be difficult to be effective. Now, Naruto is more and more looking forward to the next development of the two. Bang bang bang. The two fought each other through soft fists, which became more and more intense. Because the soft fist pressing the acupuncture points will seal the acupuncture points, causing the chakra to be unable to use, both of them are attacking fiercely and defending carefully. After a fight, they were not injured but only consumed a little chakra. The battle turned into a war of attrition, which is not what Neji wants to see. Through the white eyes, Neji can clearly see that Sasuke has more chakra than him. It must be broken immediately. Soft fist technique Bagwazong Huishin. Ning-Si let out a low cry, and with his right foot as the axis, he instantly started to spin like a spinning top, and the light blue chakra formed an invisible wall, keeping Sasuke out. It turned out to be back to heaven. Hinata in the auditorium was extremely surprised. Naruto can also understand Hinata's mood. Returning to the sky is a secret technique passed down by word of mouth in the Hyuga clan. At the moment of being attacked, a large amount of chakra is released from the chakra acupuncture points in the body, and then rotates in a circle like a top, which can rebound all physical attacks, which can be said to be another kind of absolute defense. Neji was born in the Hyuga branch family, but with his own super talent, he realized Huishin alone. How could Hinata not be surprised? Naruto couldn't help comforting him and preached, "Hinata, you see that Ning-Si, as a branch family, can control the sky. Hard work will pay off, don't be discouraged, I believe that one day you will become very strong." "Okay, I will work hard." Hinata nodded heavily. "Don't worry, just take your time. If it doesn't work, I'm still there. Don't look at my small size. It's not a problem to keep out the wind and rain." Naruto chuckled. He is less than 1.5 meters now, but he can guarantee that most people in the ninja world are not his opponents. Turn your gaze back to the arena. With the effect of recovery, after the two stopped briefly, Ning-Si took a deep breath. "Sasuke, I have to say, you brought me a big surprise, but that's all." Making a soft fist with both hands, Ning-Si said in a deep voice, "Now you have entered my formation, next, let you see what a real soft fist is. Release the chakra and gather the palms, that's just the most basic soft fist." If Sasuke hadn't forced him to this field, he wouldn't have used this technique. After all, the next move was also a secret technique passed down by word of mouth in the Hyuga clan. Soft fist technique Bagua 64 palms. Ning-Si let out a low cry, and with a flash of his figure, he rushed towards Sasuke. Seeing this, Naruto hurriedly shouted, "Sasuke, be careful, don't pretend too much." Bagua 64 palms, attacking on 64 acupoints to seal the opponent's chakra. It belongs to the acupuncture attack style. If it is fully used, it can completely block the flow of Sasuke's chakra, and the outcome will naturally be decided at that time. Hearing Naruto's reminder, Sasuke flickered and hurriedly backed away, but Neji's speed was not enough for him to escape. Bagua 2 palms. Ning-Si let out a low cry, and his 2 palms had already landed on Sasuke's body. Sasuke instantly felt that the flow of chakra was blocked, and before Neji could continue to attack, he hurriedly increased the speed of chakra. Originally, he had prepared a lot of tactics, but there was no way to implement them right now. If he continues to wait, all the chakras are blocked, and he will be completely helpless. Unexpectedly, Sasuke was cornered by Neji's trick. The chakra running at super speed caused his neck to crawl out of the fiery red flames, quickly covering half of his body, and then stopped abruptly, turning into black tadpole patterns. Naruto couldn't help showing a gratified smile when he saw Sasuke, who had not yet fallen into madness with half of his body turned into a spell. This month, Sasuke's growth is indeed gratifying. But the situation at the scene is still unclear. Don't look at Sasuke's half-curse Yinhua, but Neji's Bagwazong has reached 16 palms. If it continues, Sasuke will be useless. Boom. A scene that Naruto didn't expect appeared. Sasuke didn't choose to run away, but stared at Sharingan, and Sharingan frantically circulated, clearly replicating Neji's abilities and movements. The next moment, Sasuke also got up and started Bagua 64 palms. With the blessing of Spell Seal, Sasuke's speed has been improved rapidly, faster than Neji's movements. When Neji started to perform 64 palms, Sasuke had already caught up with the progress, and almost simultaneously blasted soft fists. Bang 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 bang. The sound of explosions kept ringing, and a large cloud of dust was raised in the entire arena, blocking everyone's sight. Naruto also couldn't see the changes on the field, but he was undoubtedly very shocked. Naruto knew Neji's tricks well, but Sasuke really surprised him too much. Although there is no terrifying insight of Baian, the insight and reenactment of Sharingan is also extremely powerful. In addition, Sasuke knows Neji's acupoints well. Although it is expected to perform Bagua 64 palms, it is also reasonable. Sasuke, who has a half-curse imprint, can even cooperate with simple illusions like Kakashi's dealing with Zabujan, and achieve the situation where the second strike comes first and the first to complete 64 palms. It was too late to wait for the dust to subside. Naruto shouted, "Referee, I can't see it, hurry up and clean up the dust." Not only him, but other audiences also had this intention, and they responded immediately. Moonlight Gale made seals with both hands, and cast an ordinary wind escape that would not affect the battle situation, cleaning up the dust in an instant. As Naruto expected, Sasuke had already seized the opportunity, and the one who had overtaken the progress began to blast the last few palms. However, what Naruto didn't expect was that Ning-Si withdrew his feet and broke 64 palms. Immediately afterwards, Ning-Si slapped a few palms from the air. Soft fist, 8 diagrams empty palm. Kindness. Naruto was startled slightly, unexpectedly, that Neji still had time to think about strategy at this time. Indeed, if Neji fired 64 palms at the same time, in the best case, both sides would be hurt, and in the worst case, he would even be sanctioned by Sasuke. It is a good way to stop casting spells and use Bagwazong instead. Soft fist Bagua empty palm. Put the opponent in the Bagua formation, and use your hands to hit the target with chakra shock waves, causing damage to the opponent, which is equivalent to the soft fist in the air. Acupuncture from the air to make up for the last Bagwazong. Even if Sasuke wanted to imitate it, it was too late. However, just when Naruto thought that Neji would win, Sasuke laughed, very crazy, and his eyes were full of bloodthirsty light. The next moment, the black curse seal on Sasuke's body turned into flames again, and continued to cover until it completely covered the whole body, which was the complete spell seal transformation. Seeing this, Naruto was dumbfounded. He thought that Sasuke's mastery of half of the seals was already the limit, but he didn't expect to be able to fully seal them long ago. How much Sasuke has grown in this month is simply too exaggerated. Man, this is outrageous. The fully sealed Sasuke is equivalent to Naruto, who can use the Nine Tails chakra in the original book. Even if the original chakra is blocked by the 8 diagrams 64 palms, he can still mobilize the evil chakra brought by the seal. Could it be that Sasuke is the winner of this battle? Naruto was about to come to a conclusion, when he saw Neji put on his posture again, and said with firm eyes, "You are the first to force me to this point, then try my new trick." Hearing this, Naruto was completely dumbfounded. Ning-Si actually has a new trick. In the original book, Ning-Si's strongest move at this moment is the 8 diagrams 64 palms. What will the new move be? Fire Escape Dragon Fire Technique. Sasuke didn't dare to be careless, and quickly used the Fire Escape attack with his hands in seals. You must attack first. If Ning-Si seizes the opportunity again and uses a new trick, there will be endless troubles. Back to the days. Ning-Si rotated on the spot, even the powerful flames couldn't penetrate his defense at all. When the flames subsided, Ning-Si stretched out his right hand and hit his brain violently. What is this for? Naruto couldn't help exclaiming. In his opinion, Neji was harming himself. What is this trick? Hurt others first, hurt yourself. Could it be the long-lost Kashang Quan? The corner of Ning Si's mouth hooked into a smile, and when he stepped on his foot, his figure disappeared from the spot like a ghost in an instant, and the speed was several times faster than before. When Neji appeared again, he was already in front of Sasuke, and punched Sasuke's lower abdomen with a punch. Boom! Sasuke, who had no time to dodge, flew upside down, and a mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. So fast, such a familiar feeling, this is Bamindunjia. Xiao Li's expression was solemn. How could he have expected that Ning Si also learned Bamindunjia? Hearing this, Naruto woke up instantly. He now fully understands why Neji tapped acupuncture points on his brain. This is through the method of tapping acupuncture points with soft fists, and counterpointing acupuncture points to forcefully break through the restriction of opening the door. Open the door. Remove the restrictions of the brain domain, in order to achieve the purpose of exerting 100% of the physical ability, and overload the body to increase the attack and speed. Bayan can look inside and find the chakra acupuncture points accurately, but the structure of the brain is very delicate. Once there is the slightest deviation, it will lead to unexpected consequences. How should I put it? Ning Si is really a bold man of high skill. But even if the door is opened, it is impossible to be the opponent of Juyinwa Sasuke. What is the so-called new trick? Boom! Sasuke, who got up from the ground, flashed, and shot towards Neji like a cannonball. His hands formed seals quickly, and lightning bolts gathered in his palms, making the sound of birdsong. Chidori. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly. This is Kakashi's only original ninjutsu. Because it can make the sound of birds chirping, it is called Chidori, but this ninjutsu has another name, Reikiri. Kakashi used this technique to cut off lightning, hence the name. Chidori is not only powerful, but also comes with a special effect, muscle activity. In the process of casting Chidori, the speed and strength of the caster will increase, which is the effect brought by the thunder attribute. And Sasuke relies on the curse seal. The speed is extremely fast, and the muscle activity is even more like a ghost. It is almost difficult to see the figure with the naked eye, only the afterimage of the pitch black can be seen. However, even so, Neji's speed still cannot be ignored, and it also turned into an afterimage, making it impossible for Sasuke to catch up. Bagua 4 Sky Palm. Ning Si let out a low snort, and attacked Sasuke from the air. Is this the new trick? Naruto's eyelids moved slightly. Bagua Sishinjong is an advanced version of Bagua Kongzong. First use Bagua Kongzong 3 times to attack the opponent, and finally send out a very powerful Bagua Kongzong to end the opponent. Ordinarily, Ning Si couldn't send out consecutive Bagua Kongzong, but now he can use it, all thanks to the lifting of the restriction by opening the door. Every palm blast is accompanied by a strong sonic boom, and the air produces invisible ripples, like water. This is no longer a simple air vibration, but has reached the level of an air cannon. Under this attack, even rocks will be turned into dust. Sasuke, who has just graduated from ninja 2 months ago, even if he grows rapidly, it is impossible to be his opponent. In this duel, Ningji will win. Just when Naruto was deciding the outcome, Sasuke did not give up. Sasuke Ryu Shulker. Kindness. Shulker. Naruto was slightly taken aback. He had only seen the Hidden Shadow Snake Hand, which was a ninjutsu created by Orochimaru. What is the Hidden Shadow Thunder Hand? Sasuke Flow. Did Sasuke create it himself? I saw that the Chidori on Zuo's assistant was no longer condensed, but emitted several long lightning bolts like snakes. Seeing this, Naruto suddenly realized. When he was in the Forest of Death, Sasuke saw Orochimaru's Hidden Shadow Snake Hand. It is estimated that it was reproduced with Sharingan at that time, and with Chidori, it evolved into the current Hidden Shadow Thunder Hand. As long as you master the principles, it is very reasonable to create such a mutant ninjutsu. But how do ordinary people think of fusion ninjutsu and innovative ninjutsu? Sasuke is worthy of Uchiha's genius. However, Naruto felt that the Shulking Thunder Hand was not suitable for this ninjutsu. In his opinion, this move should be called Lightning Whip. Before Naruto could think more, 4 Sky Palms had already attacked Sasuke. With a serious expression, Sasuke swung his lightning whip towards the air in front of him, and his body turned like a spinning top. Sasuke Ryu Thunderbolt. Bagwazong Huishin is to release the chakra in the body and rotate to resist damage. As for Sasuke's thunderbolt, he used a lightning whip to protect his body. When he spun quickly, there were lightning flashes all over his body, and it hit the air with a crackling sound, just like setting off firecrackers. Bang 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 bang. 4 sky palms slammed into the lightning protection, making the muffled sound of cannonballs. It was so powerful that it even blasted the ground under Sasuke's feet into a big pit half a meter deep. However, Naruto is no longer optimistic about Neji. Lightning whip only consumes chakra. As long as Sasuke still has chakra, it can be maintained, but Ningqi's 4 sky palms were only 4, and he failed to defeat Sasuke. Coupled with the consumption of opening the door, Ningqi was a little exhausted at the moment. Just as Naruto expected, Sasuke stopped returning to the sky and took this opportunity to rush towards Neji. When Sasuke came to the position a few meters in front of Ningxi, Sasuke stood still brazenly, swung the lightning whip, put on a soft fist posture, and shouted, Sasuke-style lightning 64 whips. Seeing this, Ningxi gritted his teeth and opened the door to release the restriction of physical fatigue, and overloaded his body to recover his physical strength. Bagwazong Great Huishin. This is an enhanced version of Bagwazong Huishin with a larger scope. Originally, Neji planned to leave this move to the next opponent, but the current situation did not allow it, and he had to use the final pressure. Shumin was his current limit. The moment he took off, Neji was about to spin wildly. As long as he spins successfully, he can open a huge defense of 5 meters. But the speed of lightning is not comparable to that of human beings at all. You only need to assist your fingers to change movements, and the lightning whip will attack at super speed, which is faster and more violent than Bagua's 64 palms. It even has the paralyzing effect of lightning. Although Ningxi started quickly, the lightning was even faster. Coupled with its strong penetrating power, the lightning whip hit Ningxi's arm in an instant. Without dodging the first whip, the whole body fell into a brief paralysis, and the subsequent lightning whips followed one after another. Clap 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 clap. In less than 3 seconds, the lightning whips all fell. The shocking power of the scene is not like what Chunin can do. But watching from the auditorium, Sasuke is like whipping a spinning top with a whip, shocking and full of joy at the same time. Seeing this scene, Naruto was completely dumbfounded. Is this the real Mashi's secret? No, even far more than 5 consecutive whips. You know, what Sasuke used was lightning 64 whips. Naruto never expected that after waiting for Neji's new ninjutsu for so long, what finally shocked him was Sasuke's new ninjutsu. Man, this is outrageous. ZZ. Even with chakra blessed with spell seals, after performing several ninjas in a row, Sasuke could no longer maintain the lightning whip in his hand, and even the spell seals all over his body retracted to his neck. However, all this is not important anymore. At this moment, Ningxi had already been whipped by the lightning whip into a charged shape and lost consciousness. First round, the winner, Sasuke Uchiha. With the announcement of Moonlight Gale, the first round was completely over, and thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Is this the Chunin selection match? It's so exciting. No, this is a contest between 2 geniuses. In the future ninja world, they will definitely shine. It's so cool to watch. This is definitely the highest quality contest in recent years. It's invincible. Quote. Just the auditorium behind Naruto had a heated discussion, not to mention the entire auditorium. It was completely chaotic, everyone's face turned red, and they were extremely excited. Of course, Naruto didn't complain about everyone, he also watched with enthusiasm. This battle can indeed be recorded in the annals of the Zongnin examination. No matter how you look at it, this shouldn't be something that 2 lower ninjas can do. Even if 2 upper ninjas are fighting, I believe that the vast majority of people will not object. It's just that Naruto noticed that Hinata's figure was trembling, and her little face turned pale. He couldn't help but ask with concern, Hinata, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Hinata pursed her lips and shook her head. Ah, Fang seemed to think of something, and said, Hinata, don't be nervous, your strength is good, don't worry, you will be fine if you fight. Hearing this, Naruto suddenly realized. The next duel will be Hinata and Grassland, no wonder Hinata is so nervous. Thinking of the reason, he turned his head to look at Orochimaru who was pretending to be Kusanagi, and shook his head slightly. Orochimaru immediately understood, and whispered a few words to Grassland, and then Grassland came to the wall, and said to Moonlight Gale below, "In the second round, I abstain." Abstain. Okay, then we are going to start the third round. Moonlight Hayate watched Neji and Sasuke being carried away by the medical team, and continued, "The third round, Yamanaka Ino vs. Jinsao, come down and get ready. Hinata is really lucky. If I can meet someone who abstained, how wonderful it would be, oh." Yamanaka Ino said with emotion, turned over and came to the competition venue. Hearing this, Hinata smiled awkwardly. Naruto comforted. Luck is also a part of strength. If your opponent abstains, you should prepare for the next round. The first round is estimated to end in an hour. Sasuke was injured a lot, and it is difficult to recover in a short time. This is a good opportunity. You have to seize the opportunity. Alright, Naruto-kun, I will work hard. Hinata nodded heavily. Seeing this, Naruto just smiled and didn't say much. Hinata has the fighting spirit, and it is a good thing to be able to muster up the courage, but how could Naruto hurt Hinata? The duel between the Man of Grass and Ino Yamanaka was nothing to watch at all. No matter who wins or loses, it has no effect on Naruto. Turning around and leaving the spectator seats, Naruto came to the medical room, and saw Sasuke and Neji lying on the hospital bed as soon as he entered the door. "Yo, it's okay to wake up so soon," Naruto joked. "I almost died. I didn't expect Sasuke to hide so deeply. This time I was convinced to lose." Ning-Si was very calm. "Of course, but you're not bad, you can actually hit from a distance, and you don't know where to start if you want to repeat it. With my strength, I may not be able to defeat you." Sasuke spoke modestly, but he couldn't hide the pride in his eyes. However, as soon as he grinned and was about to smile, his body felt severe pain from being pulled, so he quickly restrained his smile and remained calm. "Okay, stop praising each other, you two have a good rest. Sasuke, you can just abstain from the game later." Naruto waved his hand. Sasuke was puzzled. "Abstain? Why? Before the next round, I can recover a lot." Naruto explained. "You have proved your strength just now, don't forget, participating in this competition is just for you to exercise, not to compete for the championship. You and I are in Group A, and you can't win if you meet me of." Sasuke insisted. "However, before I met you, the winner of the second round was my opponent in the second round. I want to try again." "There's no need to try. The winner of the second round is Hinata. She can't beat you, and you can even kill her instantly. You might as well rest if you have this time." After Naruto finished speaking, Sasuke stopped rebutting. After all, there is no value in fighting, and he doesn't want to move. But Ninki ignored the pain in his body, sat up suddenly, and said in a deep voice, "Sasuke, you must go." "Why?" Sasuke was puzzled. Ning-Si said with a gloomy face, "Miss Hinata is not worthy to be a Chunin at all, so let her be a Chunin for the rest of her life." Even without the caged bird, Ning-Si's hatred for the Zong family did not diminish. "That's the deal, Sasuke abstains." Naruto also said in a deep voice, "Ningji, it's time for you to let go of your hatred. You should lie down and rest first, and you will have the answer in a while." According to the original book, Hyuga Hyuzu will come back soon and take out Neji's father's suicide note. I believe that Neji will completely let go of his hatred after seeing the suicide note. Naruto is not treating Neji badly, but he just hopes that Neji can be freed from hatred. Hatred makes people strong and can also make people too extreme. Being able to settle grievances is a good thing for Neji's growth. Similarly, his overprotection of Hinata is a bad thing in the eyes of outsiders, and it will put Hinata in a greenhouse, which is not good for growth, but in his view, it must be done. Excluding the factors of the original work, he also likes Hinata very much, and he doesn't want to see Hinata encounter any danger. As a man, it is his duty to protect the girl he likes. Although it is impossible for him to protect Hinata all the time, as long as he is within his ability, he will do his best. And the so-called bad growth, greenhouse flowers. It would be a big mistake to conjecture like this. Victory or defeat. For Hinata, the meaning of growth is not too great. Only when Hinata gets out of the predicament by herself can Hinata truly grow. At this step, Naruto decided to do it himself. Anyway, he and Hinata are in Group A, and they will meet sooner or later. He believes that he can convince Hinata by then. In Naruto's concept, he will protect the girl he likes with all his strength, and he will also try his best to preach to make it better, without outsiders intervening, and no one is allowed. Perhaps, this is also Naruto's paranoia. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.